by IS as part of a prisoner exchange. The M1 reopened at around 8:30 last night in Bedfordshire following yesterday lunchtime's crash. A lorry went through the central reservation, leading to an 8-hour closure between junctions 13 and 12. The driver suffered serious injuries. It took 4 hours to release him. He was taken to hospital with suspected broken legs. A 28-year-old woman remains in a critical condition after a collision with a van in Hoddesdon on Monday afternoon. She was airlifted to a London hospital after the incident in Stansted Road. Hertfordshire police say the two people arrested on Monday, a woman and a teenage girl, will face no further action. New research out today shows that the number of people facing homelessness rose to 280,000 last year, as opposed to government statistics of 52,000. The research, published jointly by Crisis and the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, argues that official figures are masking the true scale of the problem. Kevin Arscott is a former soldier who ended up homeless and living in Wendover Woods in Buckinghamshire.
I've spent most of, since coming out of the army trying to find myself. It's been really difficult. Being in the army, what you're used to, and then you come out and you've got to restart your life again. You'd lost the family that you'd been with, do you know what I mean? All your mates were like your brothers.
The latest forecast from Cancer Research UK suggests 1 in 2 people will develop the disease at some point in their lives. The new figure, which is published in the British Journal of Cancer, replaces the previous estimate of 1 in 3. Police are investigating after claims that drinks were spiked in pubs and clubs in Dunstable on Saturday night. 4 women separately contacted police to say they'd been unwell. In sport, Manchester United are through to the 5th round of the FA Cup after a 3-0 win over League 2 Cambridge in last night's replay at Old Trafford. The weather, another cold and icy start, followed by a mixture of wintry showers with bright or sunny spells in between. A maximum temperature of 5 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Sweet Lord, let's do it, guys. Kelly, are you ready?
Yes, mate.
Lockers, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Catherine Boyle, are you ready?
Not really, no.
OK. Got an ink stain in my jacket and it sent me into a spiral of depression that is completely out of sync with the size of the incident. I may talk about that once or twice throughout the show.
Mm-hmm. What have you done to get rid of it?
Sorry?
What have you done to get rid of the stain?
He's Googled.
I Googled and I asked Catherine and I came back with, jacket ruined.
I said, I reckon I can sort that out. He went, no, you can't.
You can't?
You can't fix
Have
this.
you tried salt?
Oh, she's literally just saying condiments.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC.
Give us that again, Kel.
Ketchup?
Yeah, there's a girl
Somebody works on red wine.
There's a girl in the papers today.
But there's a few. And so it begins.
Student Lauren Dodd has a phobia of tomato ketchup and feels sick if she sees it. And so what the Sun have done is they put a tub of tomato ketchup in front of her and she's there going, oh, no, I don't like this. It's called a mortusesquisphobia. Sorry? What happened
Set
there?
me off, sorry.
Mortusesquisphobia. Even the bottle makes her tremble and she nearly fainted with some splashed on her.
Gosh.
So...
How is she with mayonnaise?
I really don't think you're taking that seriously. Hey, Kath!
Yes.
You asked me earlier on for a George Harrison song that you'd heard me play.
Yeah.
You didn't know what it was. Yeah. Would you like to introduce it? As a little treat to you today, because I was a little bit rude. And I posted a picture of Mel and Sue on Twitter, and I said, my good friends Kelly Betts and Catherine Boyle, were good to see you on telly. It was a little bit rude. You genuinely were offended.
No, I'm not offended. She's
you did
a
the mock
fine-looking woman.
offence. You did the mock offence.
Yeah, and then I started Googling Steptoe and Son to try and pwn you back, but then I thought, you know what, it's not worth
Just
it.
that you're calling it ponyship means you're upset.
I really liked that you said that we were your good friends.
That was a lie. So, Catherine, introduce George Harrison, What Is Life, as my little apology to you.
This is going to be Hey Fatty Bum Bum.
No, it's not! I promise you it's not! I promise you it's not!
You're the one for me, Fatty.
Oh, it's nothing... There's nothing rude about it.
Is there a song called Specky Four Eyes, Boy's Hair?
A specky four eyes, a boy's hair! A specky four eyes, a boy's hair! A specky four eyes, a boy's hair.
And that, my friends, was Specky Four Eyes Boy's Hair.
No, go on, introduce it, we'll do it.
Here's a song that I heard him play on a different radio station. I thought it was quite good. Oh, no, I hate
Dodgy?
this song. I hate this
You like Dodgy?
No, I hate this
You
song.
like Dodgy?
I hate this
I
song.
like Dodgy.
Kath likes Dodgy. Oh, you like Dodgy? Oh no. Kath loves Dodgy.
I've got a aching in my bones. I've been exposed to what I want to see. The fuse is burning somewhere. It's drenched in heat. It's where I long to be. There's always two sides. You don't have to suffer. This is heaven and send me to hell. So stay in the light. Don't take your eyes from the prize. Hey, there goes the bell. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for two. It's what I want to see. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for two. It's what I want to see. Sing a song as the sun does rise. If you don't ask questions, then you don't know why. There's a bridge to the other side. Don't take your eyes from the prize. There's always two sides. You don't have to suffer. This is heaven, then send me to hell. So stay in the light. Don't take your eyes from the prize. Hey, there goes the bell. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for two. It's what I want to see. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough. It's true. It's what I want to see. There's always two sides. You don't have to suffer. This is heaven, then send me to hell. So stay in the light. Don't take your eyes from the prize. Hey, there goes the bell.
There's a bell.
Lord, I need to harmonize. Situation may never find.
If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for two. It's what I wanna be. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for two. It's what I wanna be. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for two. It's what I wanna be. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for two. It's what I wanna be. Break it down. Do 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 do. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for two. It's right. All the ladies.
It's good enough for me. It's good enough for two. It's what I want.
All those on medication.
Enough for you, it's good enough for me. If it's good enough for two, that's what I want to see. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. If it's good enough for two, that's what I want to see.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Don't know what the name of that song was. We'll try and find it out for you later on in the show. Now, the family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. Sally Evans from Woburn Green has been talking to MPs on the Home Affairs Select Committee as they attempt to work out how people like her son Thomas end up fighting alongside Islamist militants. Well, Catherine Boyle's been looking into this. Catherine, remind us of this case.
Well, Sally Evans took action after she found out her son Thomas had joined Al-Shabaab. This is the group behind the atrocities in Kenya. She said her son left school at 16 and he'd been a regular boy until he became depressed until after splitting up with a long-term girlfriend. He converted to Islam and then flew to Egypt in 2011 before travelling on to join Al-Shabaab fighters in Somalia. His mum Sally and his brother Michael have been giving evidence, as you said, to MPs and said at first they'd welcomed his decision to practice a faith.
I had no reservations at all. He'd done one or two things that I wasn't proud of, so I was quite happy for him to follow Islam if that's what he wanted. And initially it was good.
It really thought him out.
Yeah, it was really good for him. But then slowly he started to drift down a path that wasn't right.
His brother Michael noticed a change in Thomas, didn't he, once he converted to Islam?
Yeah, he said that Michael Evans, as you heard there, he's his brother and he's 2 years younger, and he said that there was a clear tipping point, things started to change.
When he changed mosque, the way he practiced Islam changed completely. Every night he was at home would be an argument. Any discussion we'd have with him would be called racist. We were told numerous times we're going to burn in hell because we're not Muslims.
And that's a view he still holds today.
Yeah.
And the committee was told that Thomas changed his name to Abdul Hakim, tried to fly to Kenya but was stopped at the airport gate by UK officials. They stopped him from flying. However, his family said they weren't told and so they didn't realise the extent to which he'd become radicalised. Both Sally and Michael Evans say something clearly went wrong when in 2011 Thomas successfully managed to fly to Egypt instead and he didn't come back.
It's frustrating because they obviously had suspicions about him. They stopped him flying to Kenya. And for him just to go to the airport, a few months later and get on a plane to Egypt, no questions asked, it just seems like there's a failure somewhere. Why was he not on some kind of blacklist or no-fly list? Because they obviously had concerns about him. It just seems like someone made a mistake somewhere.
It was a massive failure somewhere, I feel. We've been let down that they let him fly.
And has Thomas or Abdul been in touch with his family since?
Rarely is the answer. They know he's in Somalia and they know that he's married a 13-year-old girl.
Crikey.
She's been in touch asking them for money. Yeah. Sally Evans says she simply hadn't known where she could get help to stop her son becoming radicalised in the first place. And she said some helplines exist, but only for Muslims worried about Muslim children, not for non-Muslims whose offspring have converted. She said that the help should be universally available.
In colleges, within the mosque, it should be out everywhere. It should be easily attainable, that you can see it, so that people know that if there's a problem, that's where you can go to get help. Because if I'd have known there was somewhere I could have gone to get help, I would have done that.
Michael and Sally Evans say that they believe that others from Thomas's mosque have also travelled to join fighters, this time in Syria. They're asked by MPs what advice they might give to other families in their situation.
Go and get help for your son. Don't let him go. Don't lose your son like I've lost mine, and you've lost your brother.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah. Just don't ignore all these small changes, because over the long term it adds up to quite an extreme change that, and when you're at that point, I think it's hard to get them back. You need to intervene early, just to let them know that they're being brainwashed, they're being poisoned.
Catherine, thank you.
Ian, you're welcome.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Looking at the motorways on the cameras this morning, and it's all looking fine so far. It's quite quiet on the M40. In Clapham on the A6 Paula Radcliffe Way, there are roadworks around Clapham Road, so expect delays there. And in Hatfield on Great North Road, there's some temporary traffic lights at Bullstag Green, so expect some delays there later on when it starts to get busier on the roads. In High Wycombe on the A404 Marlow Hill, there's some temporary traffic there at the junction for Marlow Road too, so that could get quite busy as well. And on the trains, the 6:25 service from Luton to London St Pancras International is delayed by 10 minutes. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah, that's it, man. Loving it, man, loving it. I am loving the travel with Sammy Braff. 6:15, it's Wednesday, the 4th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside why am I struggling with that word today? Let's just take another run up. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. Jordan has executed 2 convicted jihadists a day after Islamic State militants released a video showing a Jordanian Air Force pilot being burned alive. And Manchester United are through to the 5th round of the FA Cup after a 3-0 win over League Two Cambridge in last night's replay at Old Trafford.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk about your story. They're little globules of it's chocolate. What is that sticking out of that?
That's the abdomen of the ant.
Roberto Perroni.
Film critic Richard Fitzwilliams, welcome to the programme. Richard, will you be watching Rambo 5?
They are unsubtle, they are silly, and they do not appeal.
Overweight people are being ignored, humiliated and insulted on a regular basis.
When you're in the supermarkets, people watching what you're picking up and passing comments.
Can I ask you, Claudette, what does it cost to have a cycle of IVF when you decide, well, I have to have children?
It all totalled to nearly £25,000. When you're in such a low and desperate place, you'll do anything.
Roberto Perroni on BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's people. Let's talk to each other.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
All right, I see.
Sorry? Sorry? What?
I mean, it's...
Kennedy.
What?
Can you guess the name of the musician that this woman is saying?
Kennedy.
Nigel Kennedy.
Kennedy.
08459 455 555. She's saying the name of one of the most famous people in the world. But who is it?
Kennedy.
OK. 08459 455 555. Yes, Catherine?
Nothing. Got nothing to say to you.
You're right, Kels. You're a bit sniffly today, snuffly. Like Mr. Snuffleupagus.
I am sometimes in the morning.
Yeah.
It'll pass.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. Not going to do sick note or anything. Not going to pull a Kathy.
Hey, lockers!
Again, right.
No, listen. It's all love here, and you. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly, Matt.
He is literally the weirdest man ever.
Why have you frozen? It's not musical statues.
Oh, it's passed. Okay. We'll stop the nonsense. We're going to play Locker's piece that he recorded yesterday about old people. What was it about old people having it? No, what was yesterday's? Lonely people.
Is it old people getting knock on the door?
We'll find him something to go out on today, but let's have some tunes. Okay, let's have a little bit of my favourite Beatle. Catherine, you heard me play this on another radio station. I can't hear what you're saying. I'm not talking to you, mate.
I'm not talking to you, Matt. Sorry.
Catherine, you heard me play this, and you hadn't heard this song. It's a really famous song.
Yeah.
Would you
There's
like
a lot of songs in the world.
Would you like to introduce Mr. George Harrison and the song?
Here's Hey Fatty Bum Bum.
It's not Hey Fatty. I'm not doing that. Mate, honestly, I've got George Harrison, What Is Life, queued up to play. So introduce it.
It's some song or other.
No, come on now. Listen, we always get complaints that we don't say the names of the songs and the artists.
from Matt, and he loves it.
He loves it. So tell us why this song is so special to you, introduce it, and then we'll have it.
No.
Why?
It's going to be dodgy again.
If you love dodgy so much, why don't you marry them?
I hate dodgy!
You love dodgy! Seriously, why don't you go and marry the fella from Dodgy, and he might take you round to Top Loaders for a cup of tea. we're playing What Celebrity Name Is This Woman Saying?
Kennedy.
08459 455 555. Here it is one more time.
Kennedy.
Okie dokie. Now, people are being encouraged not to declare themselves homeless so the government can suggest that the number's down. Well, that's according to a new report from Crisis and the Joseph Rowntree Foundation. Not only do their stats wildly contradict official figures, they believe the number that they have is only the tip of the iceberg. But whether it's their 280,000 cases or the government's 52,000, and boy, isn't that a big gap, many people are left sleeping on the streets or mate sofas and are turning to charities rather than the state. Well, Simon Green is housing manager at Milton Keynes YMCA. Morning, Simon.
Morning, Ian.
So the Joseph Rowntree Foundation saying 280,000, the government saying 52,000. That's a massive gap. Who should we believe?
Well, I think in reality the homeless problem is much bigger than the authorities will admit to. And we certainly see that there's much bigger numbers of people homeless than official figures will show. And I think there's a strict criteria which local authorities will adhere to when they're taking people and giving them housing, and most people won't fit that.
You mentioned local authorities. What are the key problems that they face when they're trying to tackle homelessness?
Well, there's just not enough homes, to be honest. So I think for decades, really, not enough homes have been built, so as housing demand has increased, there just aren't sufficient homes available for people, certainly in the South East.
And I'm guessing, well, I would imagine that has a big knock-on for places like you, the YMCA.
Well, in effect, really, that's why certainly our homeless hostel is in existence, because there's so many people out there who just can't find somewhere to stay. So, you know, if you're wealthy, you can afford to buy, or if you meet the really strict criteria for local authorities or social landlords, then you'll be picked up by then. But most people won't be able to do either of those things. And then you're left trying to privately rent, and private rent is expensive, it's hard to get, there's not enough private rental housing. The average deposit these days required is £1,200, and a lot of people just struggle to find that.
What's the situation like in Milton Keynes, Simon?
Well, in our homeless hostel, have got 20 people every night staying in our hostel, and demand for our service that we can't meet is going up year on year. So 3 years ago, we had to turn away 250 people just because we didn't have space for them. The year after that, it was 350 people. Last year, it was 650 people.
Blimey.
And it's just going up and up.
And where are they coming from? Are they from all over the country? Are they specifically from Milton Keynes? That sounds like a massive leap.
Yeah, well, no, these are people from Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
So we have a local connection criteria, which we implemented a couple of years ago. So we had the odd person coming from outside of Milton Keynes, but now this is just people that have grown up in Milton Keynes.
What's the solution then?
Well, quite simply, is to build more homes. In the long term, the only way you're going to tackle the issue is to build more homes. That's obviously a massive issue that requires national political will. And in the meantime, you need to support organisations such as ours that are going to continue to help these people.
Simon, I really appreciate you getting up at this ridiculous time in the morning, and keep on doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, mate. Simon Green, housing manager at Milton Keynes YMCA. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Got some bad news, Kels.
What's up?
Well, we've been having a little bit of fun this morning.
Yeah?
Try and find Dodgy on the system now.
What have you done?
No, I've done nothing, mate. She's gone and deleted it.
Do you know what? It's fine. I'll get it back.
No, I wouldn't.
It's a boring song. Why are you obsessed with this?
Kels, don't, mate. It's not fair. We don't really... Sorry? Done what? We got what? If you love it so much, Kath, why don't you go and marry them? Why don't you go to Glastonbury 1996 and marry Dodgy, and then you can go on honeymoon with them and top loader? Yeah? Oh dear.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
And Looking at the speed sensors in Clapham on the A6, Paula Radcliffe Way is moving fine at the moment through the roadworks at Clapham Road, but that could get busy later on. In Milton Keynes on the A421 Standing Way, there's roadworks around the Kingston roundabout, so expect delays there as well. And in Watford on St Albans Road, there's also roadworks going on at the Horseshoe Lane, so that could cause some delays. On the trains, London Midland have a replacement bus between Watford Junction and St Albans Abbey because of problems with the overhead lines. That's likely to cause problems until around 11 o'clock this morning. And London Midland services have 10-minute delays because of a signalling late finishing engineering works at Bletchley. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Samantha.
Yes.
Hi, Ian. Hi there, Samantha. How's Elaine doing this morning?
Elaine's fine.
Is Elaine blocked?
No.
Is Elaine closed?
No.
Is Elaine slow moving?
No. Elaine is fine. I don't really get it.
Kath, can I say that? I don't think I can. Is anyone? Is that? No. I don't think I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Has anyone shed a load in Elaine?
No.
Okay. Do you not get it?
Well, sort of, but it doesn't really make sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. It's Elaine.
Did you ask her?
Yeah, I did. She didn't get it.
Is there a breakdown in Elaine?
No.
No. So Elaine is open for business.
Well, that
she's running freely
because that's a person. That's nothing to do with roads.
Elaine. I'm talking about Elaine.
Oh, actually, a lady called Elaine.
No, I'm talking about Elaine.
But which lane?
Elaine.
Which lane? There are lots of lanes.
Exactly.
Let's say Elaine 1.
Is Elaine okay? Is Elaine 1?
Is she though?
Well,
is Elaine 1?
It's a road, is she?
Thanks very much.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain after converting to Islam. Thomas Evans from Woburn Green joined al-Shabaab fighters in 2011. Jordan has executed 2 convicted jihadists a day after Islamic State militants released a video showing a Jordanian Air Force pilot being burned alive. And the M1 reopened at around 8:30 last night in Bedfordshire following yesterday lunchtime's crash. A lorry went through the central reservation, leading to an 8-hour closure between junctions 13 and 12.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Manchester United are through to the 5th round of the FA Cup after a 3-0 win over League 2 Cambridge in last night's replay at Old Trafford. Here's Cambridge manager Richard Money.
Our organisation was good and couldn't fault them for work ethic and all of that, but we're just a little bit loose with the ball in the first half. Second half, we said at half time, what's the worst thing that can happen? You get battered, you know? So come out and show everybody what you can do, and I thought we played well second half. You know, disappointing that we lost the second half, to be honest.
And Manchester United will now be away to Preston, who won 3-1 at Sheffield United. Also last night, Sunderland won 3-1 at Fulham to earn a trip to Bradford. Tonight, Liverpool are away to Bolton in their 4th round replay. In Conference South last night, Hemel Hempstead were 3-0 up against Wealdstone with 3 goals in the first 13 minutes, but the game was abandoned at half-time due to a frozen pitch. Luton's home game with Wycombe in March has been moved for live television coverage. The game will now take place on Tuesday the 24th instead of Saturday the 21st. Hatters Andy Drury and Wycombe keeper Matt Ingram have been nominated for the League 2 Player of the Month award for January, and the former Luton player Ken Hawkes, who played for the club in the 1959 FA Cup final, has died at the age of 81. Teenage striker Keisha Anderson has been telling BBC Three Counties of his shock at a deadline day move from Barton Rovers to Crystal Palace. The 19-year-old scored on his debut for Palace's development squad yesterday.
To be honest, I didn't believe it myself. At first it was only League 2 teams coming in and wanting me to come in and putting bids in kind of thing, and then it stepped up. League 1 teams were looking, Championship, and for Palace to be coming in for such a player at such a low league, it was just, I don't know, to be honest, can't even explain it.
The former Tottenham boss Tim Sherwood is the early favourite to succeed Harry Redknapp as manager of Queen's Park Rangers. And in rugby, England will name their team today for Friday night's Six Nations opener in Wales. BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 7.
459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's been highlighted to me that Kath and I have really been involved in some bad juju. We were joking about Paris the day before.
Yeah.
Charlie Hebdo. Okay.
We couldn't have known.
We couldn't have known. Honestly, there's nothing. You can't do anything. But we were joking about Paris the day before Charlie Hebdo. We were joking about Dave D, Dozy, Beacon, Mick and Titch the day before Dozy died.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about Dave D.
Yeah.
He was already dead.
He was already
that was
dead.
Safe.
That was safe. That's in the bag. We were making some. Were you here the other week, Matt, when we were doing some excellent jokes about Taiwan?
Yes, that was good.
Yep.
That was my highlight of the week.
Taiwan's gone.
Yeah.
Well, it's not gone. An aeroplane.
It's in the news.
An aeroplane has crashed in Taiwan.
Oh, no.
We have got to stop mentioning people, places, and things,
Yeah, so-
which is going to make doing a radio show very difficult. Maybe we should stop doing it in English. Maybe if we did it in foreign, then the juju wouldn't have any. It would be negated. The power would be lessened.
Well, c'est possible parce que j'ai une copie de Le Figaro ici. Alors, face au FN, l'UMP en pleine confusion. Sur fond de forte rivalité entre Nicolas Sarkozy et Alain Juppé, le parti se déchire sur la position adoptée un second tour de la législative partielle de Dube. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Qui
I think so.
opposera le FN et le PS. Wow, I had no idea.
Kennedy. Ooh, look at her. She's a bad mamma just as fine as she can be. Hey, she's a bad mamma just as fine as she can be. Her body measurements are perfect in every dimension. She's got a figure that's shown of great attention. She's poetry in motion, a beautiful sight to see. I get so excited viewing her anatomy. She's real, oh, she's got all the curves a man like. She's real, oh, she's got all the curves a man like. Look at her, she's a bad mamma jamma, just as fine as she can be. Hey, she's a bad mamma jamma, oh, just as fine as she can be. Looks like she's born into the gold she ran. The essence of beauty, ooh, such lovely hair. She's boxy classy, oh, sexy sassy. She's heavenly, a treat for the eye to see. She's real, oh, she's stacked, got all the curves a man like. Oh, she's real, oh, she's stacked, got all the curves a man like. Ooh, she's a bad mamma jamma. Ooh, she's bad, she's as fine as she can be. Hey, she's a bad mamma jamma, just as fine as she can be. Kennedy.
We all got done for throwing a rubber down Stuart Blair's euphonium.
Measurements are perfect in every dimension. She's got a figure that's shown a bit of attention. She's poetry in motion, beautiful sight to see. I get so excited viewing her anatomy. She's real, oh, she's thick.
Oh, I think it's disgusting.
She's real, oh, she's got all the curves a man like.
Tough, mate.
Look at her,
I like the mushy peas.
Chuckling to ourselves. You all right, Kels?
Yes, mate.
I'm fine and dandy. Although I went to the gym last night, my first session in 2 weeks with my mad Hungarian. My boys think it's hilarious that I pay a woman to shout at me. Like Dominic Strauss-Kahn. And...
Not just the one, apparently.
No. So...
Anyway.
I allegedly... Although that doesn't get you out of any legal minefields. Let's move on from that. But it was hard work. But I was pumping off like there was no tomorrow. I felt the burn. I actually felt the burn. I only felt it there, just this little bit of arm here. And there's a bit. Seriously, I was pumping off in the gym. Okay, and when you're doing it, and you're pushing, and you're doing weights, not very heavy weights, literally not very heavy weights. And then you're doing it, and the arms are going fine. Yeah, the arms are going fine. All that twinges a little bit, and then the left arm just stops working.
Yeah,
it just stops working. How is that? And the brain's going, well, no, move, no, try again, and it wouldn't move at all. And there was one bit where I'm doing the exercise on the machine.
Got a lazy left arm.
Very lazy left arm, right? Well, it's not. It wants to work. It just can't find any work. Sorry, Kels? So I'm doing the machine, and it was. And in the end, she took off the already very low weights, so there were no weights on the machine.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing it. I'm pumping air, and it's still. I can do it. I'm pumping it. Oh, left arm's not going anywhere. It's having none of it at all. That is nuts, isn't it?
It's all about the reps.
Sorry?
It's all about the reps.
There were no reps there. It's just me and her.
Rap. I did some yoga yesterday.
Well, yoga's good for you, isn't it?
Did all this.
Can you do downward dog?
Yeah.
She can.
Blimey, yeah. Can you salute the sun? You right? Can you get back up from the downward dog? That's the
one.
No, it's that one where you go start up and then you end up on the floor.
Oh yeah, sun salutation.
That one.
Yeah, I can do that.
Salutate the sun.
I'm not sure that's.
I tell you what, Iain the pervert who drives past to catch an eyeful of the women here at BBC Three Counties Radio would love that. Yoga's big in the... Is it the Mail or the Express that were doing... it's the Mail. How to calm your mind with yoga. I did yoga, right? There's nothing calming or relaxing about it. First of all, you're...
Well, if you relax, you...
Well, you're worried that you're going to fall over. And also, I've done classes. Have you done classes where women are blowing off?
No one's admitted to it, but you certainly get the backdraft.
You're contracting... That's why you always stand at the front of a yoga class. Because you're pushing your stomach and stuff.
It's all about the core.
Oh, it's nothing...
When I was in yoga classes, that never happened.
It's the most stressful thing in the world, apart from being in war. No, I'd say it's even more stressful than that.
It got that bad in my yoga class that I started wondering whether it was me and I hadn't realised.
Was it?
I don't think so.
08459 455 555. Your yoga stories, please. We're also playing Can You Guess Who She Is Talking About?
Kennedy.
And did we have something else that we'd thrown out? Or maybe I just dreamt it. It don't matter.
Yes. It happened to you yesterday in Prisoners.
Oh,
yeah.
And I think we can tell this story because the chances of this boring man listening...
Doesn't listen.
Well, even if the radio were on, he would not hear us. So we went to our local...
He'd be talking.
He'd be talking about bloomin' fishing. Catherine and I were let down by other members of the team, Kelly Betts and Matt Lockwood, yesterday. We normally go for a cheeky little fry-up at Prizzies, just down the road, Prisoners' Wives. Is that what it's called?
Wait, no, and you've got to stop saying
What is it called then?
In case they're listening.
OK, all right. Anyway, so they listen to Heart in there, despite us going in there to retune their radios.
And despite us funding them.
Yeah, exactly. We're funding their illegal lifestyle. Anyway, so we go in there, because me and Kath go in there thinking, well, this is great. We can have a proper grown-up chat instead of, coming down to your level of the kids. Talking about, pop idols and stuff like that.
One Direction.
Yeah, we're going to talk about philosophy and decorating the house. And as we're there, right, this fella comes in and he just starts talking to us.
Yeah.
And he obviously recognised me from my very long television CV. Admittedly ended a few years ago.
You were on Emmerdale.
All right, mate. And he says, oh, what are you doing here? And we said, oh, we work just up the road. OK. And then he said, what do you think of it so far?
Yeah.
The answer to that is, of course, rubbish.
You see, that was your mistake, because that was a code word.
Then we're in. Then he comes and sits at our table.
Yeah, prisoners' wives didn't help, did they? She
No.
went, "Here, love, I'll put your tea down here."
She put his food and drink on our table. So suddenly he sat with us, right? And he would not shut up.
Even though you were giving him nothing, and then you started joining in.
15 minutes into it, I thought, do you know what? I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm having some of this. And I went in for the full conversation. And I could see you were getting annoyed. So when I finished my breakfast, I ordered another breakfast.
He did?
Yes, I did.
Do you know why I was getting a bit miffed? He was one of those blokes who doesn't see or speak to women.
Yeah.
Because, there was a question I thought, to the room. I answered it, and he sort of looked at me as if...
Yeah.
He looked at me vaguely and then carried on talking to you.
But what was he talking about?
Oh, God, fly fishing.
Fly fishing?
And then it turns
40
out...
minutes.
It turns out, because you said, "Oh, Kath will come with you." Thanks for that, by the way.
No worries.
You went, "Oh, no, of course. This is after like 20 minutes of this."
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been fishing for about 20 years.
Matt's outside. Matt, Matt, put your headphones on. I want to ask him a question, because we politely endured it and sat through it, and even though we were both kicking each other under the table, it was like being at school. We just kept kicking each other and pinching each other. But it went. But we are so polite, and I think most people would just put up with it.
He wasn't even talking to me, and occasionally I was going, "All right, yeah. All right."
But Matt, we told you about this, our boring fella, in the thing, and tell us what you said you would do.
Well, I just told him to shut up. I just said, we're having a private conversation here. We've come here for breakfast. You've just joined our table. I don't know why. I'm not uncomfortable with the situation. I'm sorry. Can you leave?
And he would have done that.
We're going to leave.
And there were a couple of other... I know he sounds older than us, but he's actually younger than us. There were a couple of other youngsters in the office yesterday. Jen was saying, well, I'll just tell him I'm not interested. Is it an age thing?
No.
Is that... Because you... What?
Well, I would have left at the point you ordered your second breakfast and left you there with him.
Oh, actually, yeah, I should have done that.
Because you don't know him, why are you keeping up a pretence that you have to be polite to
You're
that
Northern,
person?
you're supposed to talk to strangers.
No, he's from Yorkshire, isn't he?
Oh,
They're tend
yeah.
to get lost. Right, this is what I want you to take to the street. Not yet, have your coffee, we'll relax and enjoy ourselves for a little bit.
Where's my coffee, by the way?
He's going to bring it in. I'm
going to do it.
Am I going to drink it remotely?
Right. So can you take to the streets? What would you do if there's a boring man who sits at a table talking to you? Would you I already put that out, and we'll see what they say. Can you do that?
Yeah, man.
Wait, was he?
I don't know. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the trains, there are some problems on London Midland services. There's a replacement bus between Watford Junction and St Albans Abbey. That's because of problems with the overhead lines, and that's likely to be the case until around 11 o'clock this morning. There's also 10-minute delays from Milton Keynes to London because of engineering works going on but actually that's just possible delays. There's no problems showing up at the moment on the speed sensors on that line, on the departure boards on that line. On the motorways, the M1 southbound's looking very slow on the speed sensors around Junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road, and it's also looking quite busy on the North Orbital Road around the M25 Junction 21A roundabout. The A1 southbound has queues starting to build up from the Holiday Inn turning towards Stirling Corner. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 6:47. It's Wednesday, the 4th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. The M1 reopened at around 8:30 last night in Bedfordshire following yesterday's lunchtime crash. So that's good news. And new research out today shows that the number of people facing homelessness rose to 280,000 last year. That's opposed to the government statistics of 52,000.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's another chilly start this morning. Some of us had maybe a dusting of snow last night. Places like Watford, for example, had a little tiny bit, nothing too significant though, but the temperature is around 0, so it's more of an ice risk this morning. If you did get any showers overnight, they're likely to freeze, and the Met Office has a yellow weather warning in place for snow and ice. Now, we have 1 or 2 showers just working their way through, but it looks like they're going to fall more wintry over higher ground, so places like the Chilterns, the Downs. To lower ground, they're more likely to be a bit of a sleety mix through the course of the day. day. But the temperature's going to struggle. The northerly breeze putting paid to that. The maximum just 4 Celsius. Now, overnight tonight, it's a similar sort of night, actually. Staying quite breezy, though. 1 or 2 wintry showers possible. But again, ice possibly developing by dawn. Minimum temperature -1 for tomorrow. Again, a similar day. Some wintry showers. 1 or 2 of those falling as snow, but some bright spells. And through the afternoon, a northeasterly breeze is going to pick up. And that is going to put paid to any kind of relief in the temperature. 5 Celsius the maximum. It's not going to feel that, as the wind will make it feel a lot less. And that's your forecast.
Three Counties Sport.
It was a mixed bag of results for our teams last weekend.
It's Stevenage 0, Oxford 2.
And it's a third goal for Luton Town. And this weekend, we'll have 4 more live games for you.
Watford at home to Blackburn, the Hornets who lost last week, but that was because of a very poor decision and a sending off.
MK Dons against Bristol City. Big game this one, second versus first in the hunt for promotion to the Championship.
Luton are away to Oxford. The Hatters are still going well and hoping for automatic promotion.
Stevenage at Mansfield. The Borough looking to get back to winning ways.
Live commentary on your local team.
Saturday from 2 here on BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Oh, whoop-de-doo. There's a sequel, or is it a prequel? I don't care, to one of the world's most boring books.
No, don't say that.
More than 50 years ago, she wrote one of the most treasured and boring American novels of all time.
It's a beautiful book.
But left it at that. Fans of Harper Lee, who is... she's related to my dad, and I can't remember the relationship. It's she's like a second cousin or something.
She's not.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, honestly. Fans of Harper Lee will be thrilled to hear that the reclusive author has finally decided to publish a second novel, and they'll be brimming with anticipation to learn it's the sequel of To Kill a Mockingbird. The only good thing about To Kill a Mockingbird is there is a punchline to a joke, which is Tequila Mockingbird.
Wow.
That's the only good thing.
As if the dodgy thing this morning hadn't already damaged our relationship. Now you go and say that you don't like that book.
Tequila Mockingbird.
And then you do that.
Yeah, I don't know what the feed line is. What's your own feed line to this joke? Tequila Mockingbird. And who is this woman saying?
Kennedy.
Okay.
That book is beautiful. It's a love letter to fatherhood. It's beautiful. I can't believe you don't like it.
I'm not actually sure if I've read it or not.
Yeah, well...
I know I've read Catcher in the Rye, and that was boring.
We all read that because we thought that it would give us some sort of secret to adolescence. It doesn't.
No, I read it because I wanted to find out if it would, it would inspire me to go and shoot a pop star. I wanted to find out why Mark Chapman decided to shoot John Lennon after obsessing over that book.
I'll tell you why. He was nuts.
Yeah, well...
Next question.
You having a good time in there?
We're having a cheeky little gig,
You
mate.
really make yourselves laugh, don't you?
I'm not laughing.
Look, because you're still here, yeah?
I'm just having my coffee.
OK, mate. Now, when I said finish your coffee, I meant quickly. So...
It's like -5 outside.
Well, take the coffee with you, but just...
Take the coffee to the streets.
Oh, I know what we were going to ask him about as well.
Yeah.
We've got a chap coming on later on who's really narked. Because someone...
Not another one, not like not the same
No, not like that.
yesterday.
We're on his side this time.
Oh, yeah.
He went out to his car that had been parked outside.
Oh, yes!
And someone ploughed into it and driven off!
Yeah, yes!
Now he's worried he's going to lose his job because he can't drive it anymore and the insurance won't pay up.
When we talked to him, 10 to 7.
Yeah.
10 to 8.
10 to 8.
7:50. I knew there was a 7 in there somewhere. And it's that thing. I think I told this story a while ago when I was parking my car about 6 months ago in a multi-storey. I scraped a car. And I had that feeling of sickness. I scraped the car and I went and parked right on the other end of the car park. And I felt awful. I thought, I just can't. I'm having such bad luck.
So your first reaction was to bolt?
Yeah, and I bolted. And I got in the lift, I went up to work. And as I got to the top of the thing, I thought... Oh, man, I can't do it. So I got back in the lift, I wrote down, and I was writing a note saying, I'd knocked your car, I'm really sorry, this is my phone number, give us a call, and hopefully we can sort it out. And as I got to the car, I saw the scratch, I thought, flipping it. And I looked at the scratch, I lit my finger, I gave it a rub, and it came off. It was just a mark, and it came off. I could not have walked away from a scene like that happened to this poor gentleman whose car has been severely damaged.
Well, I mean, his is really... I mean, there was no denying that car had been damaged.
Yeah.
It's awful, isn't it, this story? I mean, what kind of people do that? Just, drive off And don't say
and don't go
anything.
back. I think, it's quite a human reaction to think, oh, get away, and then most of us would turn around, wouldn't we? Most of us.
But hands up, who would turn around in that situation?
Yeah, I
So
would
it's
turn around.
Catherine,
Ian's
Kelly, and
hands
I've got
up.
my arm.
Yeah.
But Matt, your hand has remained between your legs.
Why is his hand between his legs?
Because he's sitting on it.
Stop
He's sitting on it. What happened to you, Matt?
Well, years ago, I was parked on a narrow street. There were cars either
If
side.
you speak near the microphone, that amplifies your voice.
Right,
and
there was
sends it out
cars
over the
either
radio.
side, so I was sandwiched between the two cars. I misjudged how narrow the road was. I pulled out, and I knew it was going wrong, and scraped the side of the door.
Quite badly, you were telling us yesterday.
Yep, the other door.
It's quite a nasty accident.
There was a dent in the door as well.
It was
Big dent.
dented, not just scratched.
Gosh.
And
You
because
could
I
have
was
gouged the door.
because I was a student at the time, didn't really have much money, wanted to protect my no claims bonus. I mean, these things come into consideration.
No, they don't, mate. They don't.
They're overridden by, but I've made a boob.
Fortune.
Well, but the poor old woman's car that you knocked into, and I'm going to assume she was a pensioner. How much would it have cost her?
Well, a couple of thousand. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, she would have had to have the two doors sprayed.
The dent knocked out, possibly even a new door.
But you went back, right?
No.
Would you? This is a rare chance, dear listener, and we're going to play a song in a second. We've not even gotten to sex education for kids. We'll do that a bit later on. This is a rare opportunity for you to castigate someone who works at the BBC. 08 459 455 555. You've just heard Matt Lockwood's shameful story. What would you like to say to Mr. Matthew Lockwood? 08 459 455 555. It's disgusting, isn't
Talking of castigation, did you see this morning?
Oh, no, Catherine.
So-called Mr. Rock and Roll is dancing on his own again, talking on his phone again to someone who tells him that his balance is low. He's got nowhere to go, he's on his own again. Rock chick of the century is acting like she used to be, dancing like there's no one there. Before she ever seemed to care, now she wouldn't dare. It's so rock and roll to be alone. And they'll meet one day far away and say, I wish I was something more. And they'll meet one day far away and say, I wish I knew you. I wish I knew you before. Mrs. Black and White, she's never seen a shade of grey. Always something on her mind every single day, but now she's lost her way. And where does she go from here? Mr. Multicultural sees all that one could see. He's living proof of someone very different to me, but now he wants to be free. Free so he can see. And they'll meet one day far away and say, I wish I was something more. And they'll meet one day far away and say, I wish I knew you. I wish I knew you before. Too many more before.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the trains, London Midland services have a replacement bus between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction. That's because of overhead line problems, and that's expected to be in place until around 11 o'clock this morning. On the motorways, it's starting to get quite busy on the M1 southbound around Junction 10 for Luton Airport Spur Road, and the M25 anti-clockwise, it's starting to build up between Junction 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. On the M25 anti-clockwise, there's a lane that's been blocked between Junction 27 for the M11 and Junction 26 for Waltham Abbey because a lorry's broken down. And in Bricketwood on the North Orbit Road, it's starting to get quite busy around the M25 Junction 21A roundabouts. On the A1 southbound, queues are starting to build up between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. Samantha Burrough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, do you want to play our fun game today?
Yes.
OK, so this woman is saying the name of a celebrity.
Kennedy.
Can you name the name of the person that she's naming?
Kennedy.
I know someone called John.
Sorry?
John. I know someone called John Kennedy.
You're saying John Kennedy?
That's the idea.
No, it's not John Kennedy. Good guess. Not good enough.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Buckinghamshire family criticise authorities as son joins Islamic fighters. Jordan executes jihadists. And M1 open again after 8-hour closure yesterday.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. After converting to Islam, Thomas Evans from Woburn Green joined Al-Shabaab fighters in 2011. His mother Sally told MPs she didn't mind that he wanted to convert to Islam.
I had no reservations at all. He'd done one or two things that I wasn't proud of, so I was quite happy for him to follow Islam if that's what he wanted. And initially it was really good for him, but then slowly he started to drift down a path that wasn't right.
Jordan has executed 2 convicted jihadists a day after a video emerged showing Islamic State extremists killing a Jordanian Air Force pilot by burning him alive in a cage. One of those hanged was an Iraqi woman whose release had been demanded by Islamic State as part of a prisoner exchange. The M1 reopened at around 8:30 last night in Bedfordshire following yesterday lunchtime's crash. A lorry went through the central reservation, leading to an 8-hour closure between junctions 13 and 12. The driver suffered serious injuries. It took 4 hours to release him. He was taken to hospital with suspected broken legs. New research out today shows that the number of people facing homelessness rose to 280,000 last year, as opposed to government statistics of 52,000. The research, published jointly by Crisis and the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, argues that official figures are masking the true scale of the problem. Kevin Arscott is a former soldier who ended up homeless and living in Wendover Woods in Buckinghamshire.
I've spent most of, since coming out of the army trying to find myself. It's been really difficult. Being in the army, what you're used to, and then you come out and you've got to restart your life again. You'd lost the family that you'd been with, do you know what I mean? All your mates were like your brothers.
Hertfordshire police say 2 people arrested on Monday afternoon after a serious collision in Hoddesdon will face no further action. A 28-year-old woman remains in a critical condition after the collision with a van in Stansted Road. A woman and a teenage girl were arrested. Researchers say half of all people in Britain will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives. Cancer Research UK says this estimate replaces the previous forecast of more than a third getting the disease. Police are investigating after claims that drinks were spiked in pubs and clubs in Dunstable on Saturday night. 4 women separately contacted police to say they'd been unwell. In sport, Manchester United are through to the 5th round of the FA Cup after a 3-0 win over League 2 Cambridge in last night's replay at Old Trafford. The weather, another cold and icy start, followed by a mixture of wintry showers with bright or sunny spells in between. A maximum temperature 5 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
We know No, it's not John Kennedy. So, look, click, not close. Cross that name off your list. That's the word. I'm getting that happen more and more often where I forget words and I use similar words, but incorrect words.
Yes, you are.
Thanks so much. What's on the show this morning, Catherine?
Boring people at your table.
Boring. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, boring people at your table. How would you deal with them?
We let him carry on. Should we have told him to jog on?
40 minutes. 40 minutes of fly fishing. Even the story about Eric Morecambe was quite boring.
Do you know what, as well? We were really careful of his feelings. He was quite rude to me.
He was yeah. I wish I were more confident, stroke more stupider, stroke ruder. On the radio, I could do it. Someone's boring, I say, right, you're off. In real life, I go, Oh, yeah, tell me some more about it, please.
Yeah, you did, and you kept it. And then you said, I'll have some more breakfast, so we were stuck there for an extra 20 minutes.
15 minutes into it, I thought, actually, I know this is winding you up, so I'm gonna dive in.
What gave you that idea? The kicking under the table?
So what would you do? There's a boring person sat at your table. Do you tell, or on the bus, or at the bus stop, or wherever? Do you put up with them, or do you put out with them?
What?
No. Say you had a good one.
Do you let him carry on or tell him to jog on?
Carry on or jog on. OK, 08459 455 555.
So there's that. Also, talking about carrying on or jogging on.
Yeah.
We're going to speak to a bloke in about an hour's time who went out to his car and realised that someone had ploughed into it in their car and driven off. Matt Lockwood did it.
Matt Lockwood, and we've got an email about that. 08459 455 555. And can you guess who this lady is talking about?
Kennedy.
Across beds, hearts and
not John Kennedy.
This is
Is it
BBC
Ghostbusters
Three
2?
Counties Radio.
Jill's emailed in, regular contributor to the show, Mrs. Fry to her pupils. It says a lot about a person who can't own up to his wrongdoings. He ran away from the scene. Talking about the subject is Matt Lockwood. He ran away from the scene of an accident, a driving offence, all negative. He's gone down severely in my estimations. He was never up in my estimation, so at least he's owned up on record now. On a lighter note, is the celeb
Kennedy.
Yes, it is, Jill. Well done. You've got it right.
Jade's also got it right. Well done.
Well done, you guys.
She's also reminding us, whenever we talk about a specific place or person, they tend to meet
This
at
is
the end.
awful. So Paris, we were talking about Paris. The next day, Charlie Hebdo attacks. We were talking about Dave D, Dozy Beacon, Mick and Titch. The next day, Dozy died. We were talking about Taiwan the other day, Taiwanosaurus Rex, and all the Taiwan, one of those.
Catastrophe in Taiwan.
Catastrophe in Taiwan.
So, we've been reminded by Jade that we've also killed her giant bunny. On the Friday, we were talking about bringing her in for open door policy. Saturday,
Carped it.
ex-rabbit.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. We've also got this through from, it says, tell Iain to grow up. He should not be on the radio. He don't know how to talk to people. From Pam. Why are you calling yourself Pam, Shirley?
Why are you calling yourself Pam, Shirley?
Why are you calling yourself Pam?
Shirley? Shirley, why are you calling yourself Pam? What do you mean? And would you say that again? Read it again.
Tell Iain to... She's using text speak as well to throw us off, because Shirley normally writes properly.
OK.
Tell Iain to grow up. He should not be on the radio. He don't know how to talk to people. From Pam.
Well,
Shirley, why are you calling yourself Pam?
Pam? Are you Shirley or Pam? Shirley?
I'm confused.
Rosie's on the line. Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning.
You want to play the Mystery Voice competition. This is a lady, a resident of Beds, Herts, or indeed Bucks. She's talking about a very famous celebrity. But who is it? Have a listen.
Kennedy.
Do you need to hear it again?
No, well, I don't think so.
Well, do you?
Well, not if that's who I think it is.
Well, who do you think it is?
I think it's someone that Justin was offering the chance to hear somebody or Kenny G to sing, and she went Kenny G like that.
So you're just to
You're
clarify.
saying Elvis Costello.
What? No, come on now. What is your answer?
Kenny G.
Let's have a little listen.
Kennedy.
Ladies and gentlemen, is that the right answer? Yeah! You got my long horn! Don't tell Jonathan I've got a horn, he'll get upset.
It's longer than his.
You got my long horn!
Oh.
Rosie, and have I got this right? I think the accumulator was at £115,000. Is that right?
Yeah, OK.
OK, Rosie, we will send you we won't. The thing is, you actually have to say we won't.
It's spiritual cash.
Yeah.
So prepare to
I'll
receive
enjoy
it
that then.
now.
Rosie, you get to choose. I tell you what you win. You get to choose what you come back as next time around. What would you like to come back as next time around?
Oh, God, I don't know. Kelly Betts.
OK, there we go. That's creepy. When Rosie's next incarnation, she'll come back as Kelly Betts. Kelly Betts, what would you like to come back as next time around?
I'll come back as Rosie. We'll just do a straight up.
I don't think you can... OK.
Oh.
I'd like to come back as a horse.
You could. There wouldn't be much changing on the face part.
I want to be that really ugly cat.
Again, not much changing on the...
Or the name.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
That's actually a brilliant prize. You get to choose what you come back as next time around. Right, anyway. A Buckinghamshire woman has been telling MPs how her son ended up fighting for Islamists in Somalia. Sally Evans from Woburn Green told the Home Affairs Select Committee that there'd been a massive failure on the part of the UK authorities who allowed him to leave Britain. Mrs Evans said she'd rather see her son Thomas behind bars than fighting with a terror group. Well, Erin Marie Saltman is from the think tank The Institute for Strategic... I can't speak about this story today. Strategic Dialogue, and also gave evidence yesterday. Joins me now. Morning, Erin.
Good morning.
What did you tell the committee yesterday?
Yesterday we talked about a range of topics to do with prevention strategy, both online and offline.
What kind of prevention strategies are there in place, and what should be done differently, do you think?
Well, actually, currently the UK is quite far ahead of other European countries as far as trying to prevent radicalization. But with the new threat, with how many foreign fighters we've seen in the last few years with relation to Islamic State, we kind of have realized quite a few gaps that need to be filled.
What are those gaps? Where are they?
There's a lot of tension about content online and how we should actually be countering online extremism. And there's also, it's evident that really we should probably build some prevention strategy into school systems so that young people are better able to, when they do receive extremist propaganda, know how to counter it.
I've never seen extremist propaganda, and do you know what? It's probably something I should perhaps look into to have a bit of an awareness. What is it? What does it look like? Is it just horrible videos of, people being killed? What is this extremist propaganda?
Well, that is part of it, and what we see a lot in the media is mostly the most horrible part of some of this Islamic State propaganda, but it's combined with a lot of very actually romanticized propaganda, trying to tell these people that this is a humanitarian cause, trying to tell them that they're helping build utopia, and very romantic notions about the group.
So there's been a video released yesterday of this poor pilot who's been burnt to death, and some of the papers have got some pretty horrific photos. Would that encourage? Would there be some people sat at home looking at that on their computers, going, "Yes, this is what I..." Would that be encouraging people to join up to these organisations?
Well, that kind of depends how far along somebody is in their radicalization process. For the most people that see that sort of content, even if maybe they were interested in the movement, they would turn away from that because it's very gruesome and violent and horrible. But if you are further along being radicalized, if you believe in martyrdom and believe that it's all right to commit acts of murder on behalf of your views, then maybe that pushes you even further.
And what's the strongest factor in someone fantasizing about it at home and then going off and actually doing it? Is it politics or is it religion?
It's probably more politics and propaganda than the fine details of religion. Although people justify it through this warped version of a religion, actually we found that most people that go over that are actually foreign fighters know very little about the Quran, for example, are not actually the ones that would be attending mosques regularly. They're probably ones that have come upon the religion more secondhand.
There was a fella the other day, wasn't there, who got stopped travelling abroad to join one of these groups, and in his rucksack he had Islam for Dummies or something, which kind of highlights that wasn't his prime motive for going.
Well, yes, and that makes sense when you think about it, because if you were going to mosque on a weekly basis, you'd be listening to a lot of preaching that would completely go against all sorts of things that ISIS are saying.
We can't win this, though, this propaganda war, can we, Erin? Because there will always be young men primarily, but also young women who are disaffected by the country they live in, who don't think politics speak to them, who maybe don't get on with their parents, who've got all these other issues. And if someone comes and says, look, you come over with us, we're going to look after you, we're going to love you, we're going to protect you, you'll be in a brotherhood, That's always going to seem attractive to some people, isn't it?
Well, although that will always seem attractive, it's how many people that seems attractive to. And actually, if we can compare, for example, online extremism with something like hate speech or sexism or racism, there's a much healthier community where if somebody did come out with a racist comment, there's a large natural community online that would go against that and stand up against it. And we're not currently seeing the same thing for extremism, but that's something that we can develop and grow.
Erin, really interesting talking to you. Thank you very much indeed. Erin Marie Saltman from the Institute for Strategic Dialogue.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
That's the phone number, folks.
I've had another text back. Thanks very much, Shirley. I don't know why you're calling yourself Pam still. She's saying, it's not Shirley, it's Pam. Thank you. You are like kids. Well,
Shirley,
in 62 of your texts, you've been Shirley. In 5, you've been Pam. In 1, you've been Paula. In 1, you've been Paul. And in 1, you've been Jim. And there's a couple of question marks too. So when you've decided, can you let me know so I can change our notes?
Who are you? As the Who famously sang, who are you?
Shirley. It's Shirley.
It don't matter. I mean, it don't matter. We've got a computer here that's. We should warn you, although this may put people off texting, but we can see all of your we can see your history of texts.
Yeah,
so.
Decide on a name and stick to it is the key.
Prince Charles and I believe in homeopathy.
Oh, that's really very good.
Thank you. I've been practising my impressions.
Have you? What else do you do?
Name someone.
Mike Yarwood.
Well, you can't do an impressionist. That's like
this is me.
No, you can't, mate. That's like painting invisible. It doesn't exist. There's nothing to latch onto.
George Michael.
I've never heard the man speak. Sorry? Oh, I've crashed my car.
Oh, very good.
Thank you.
I'm sure it was very much like that.
Oh, man, I crashed my car and I fell out the car on the motorway.
Yeah.
And I'm a Greek.
No, I don't think he talks like that.
Oh, he does talk like that. He's at home with his mama. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Should I do an impression?
Danny DeVito.
So good.
Thank you.
Danny DeVito.
You're doing an impression of George Michael now, Kels?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 is blocked anti-clockwise between junction 27 for the M11 and 26 Waltham Abbey. That's because of an accident and a fuel spillage, and it's causing delays back from junction 28 for the A12. Anti-clockwise, it's also looking very slow between junction 18 for Chorleywood and 20 for Kings Langley, and the M1 southbound's very slow between junction 10 for Luton Airport Spur Road. The A1 southbound's very busy between the St Neots Junction and the Black Cat roundabout, and on the trains, London Midland have a replacement bus between Watford Junction and St Albans Abbey. That's because of overhead line problems. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Can you prove any of this, Sammy?
Well, I can see some cameras where it's
the thing
looking
is,
busy.
I think in an
I can't
age.
fly and physically look at the queue.
In an age when we should be asking questions, we allow you every 15 minutes to come on the British Broadcasting Corporation and to tell us stuff, and we just sit here naively
I
going.
can send you a picture if you like.
You can do so much. You can do so much with computers these days.
Yes, I would rather be in a plane flying around looking at it, but we can't do that kind of thing anymore. Computers took over the world.
Okay, Sammy, please don't think me rude, but I'm just going to treat everything you say with a big bag of salt. Is that all right?
Why?
7:17. It's Wednesday, the 4th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. Jordan has executed 2 convicted jihadists a day after a video emerged showing Islamic State extremists killing a Jordanian Air Force pilot. And a lorry driver suffered 2 broken legs in yesterday's lunchtime crash, which closed the M1 in Bedfordshire for 8 hours.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, if I'm not reading Islamic, oh, it turns out I can't even do it. I can't read the word, and I can say it, but I can't read it. Analyst. I can't read the word analyst. It doesn't come out like that, but I just can't read it. And I obviously have struggles saying... Strubble and Trife saying Islamic. Isn't that...
Are we not saying Islamist?
Islamic militants. You wouldn't say Islamist militants.
Why?
You'd say Islamic militants, or they are Islamists.
Why?
Well, because, I don't know. Why is the sun called the sun? Just because it is. That's the way the language works. Islamic militants, Islamists. I think I struggle saying it because I'm just so disgusted by their behaviour.
BBC Introducing.
BBC Introducing will play any style of music going. We want to hear everything that is made in Beds, Hearts and Bucks. Rock music, classical music, jazz music, produced music, beats and dance music. We are not exclusive of one music genre. It's good music being made in Beds, Hearts and Bucks. We want to hear it.
BBC Introducing.
The Beatles, the Stones, Gary Barlow, Adele, they were all once unknown, and that's where we're finding the talent at that stage.
BBC Introducing.
Every week we will take you on a journey across every genre you can find.
Every Saturday night from 8 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Apparently, I'm just hearing in my ear that Jesus was also unsigned
Unsigned.
and unknown. Sorry?
Is that real?
He says every genre. I mean, speed
Not really.
garage, happy
No.
hardcore house.
No. Actually, yeah.
Bumfluff.
Yeah.
I mean, do you play every genre?
We play
So
a lot.
Shirley's texted in
We didn't
again.
play the song that's in the background, though.
Shirley.
Dixieland.
Shirley's. I think I'm detecting a little bit of hostility from
Hey.
Shirley. Stroke Pam.
Stroke John.
Jim. Stroke Paul. Stroke Paula.
Okay.
She's busy.
Your PC is, and then there's 4 asterisks. I don't know what that word is. Your PC is 4 asterisks.
Bums.
Then the 3 of oo need to get of radio. Justin, do your job better than oo.
Justin's not even in this country. Give us a call. What's her name?
Paul.
Give us a call, Joel, and we'll sort this out. And
In the meantime,
if our computer is bums, then we'll sort it out.
your texts are costing you money, so
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
just wanted to help you out there.
81333, start your text 3CR if you want to send us some more. Now, before Christmas, we told you an incredible story about how a woman had been spotted sleeping rough in Wendover Woods, and it seems she's not the first one to find shelter there. In an hour's time, we'll be talking to Kevin Arscott, a former Grenadier Guardsman who lived there for 4 months last year. Well, he's managed to get back on his feet and is now working for Charlie Ford, who joins you on the line now. Morning, Charlie.
Good morning.
So tell us about Kevin. How did you find out that about him and that he'd been having a bit of a rough time?
He goes to the same church as I do, Vineyard in Aylesbury, and a few people there were saying that there was this guy who needed work. I was really busy at the time, and I sort of asked him if he was interested, and he sort of come on board from there.
What do you do, Charlie? What's your business?
I'm a carpenter. I do general building as well. I have 4 guys working for me now, so yeah, it's going well.
And did you know? Did you know that Kevin? Did you know anything about him, his background at all?
I didn't know the full story. I knew that he was ex-soldier. I didn't know anything about him sleeping rough or anything. It was just literally the guys from the church sort of mentioned it to me that he needs some casual work. It started off casual, and then found he was a good worker, hard worker, and took him on full time. And now we're sort of going to put him through an apprenticeship. So yeah, it's good.
Well, no, good, I think, is an understatement, Charlie. It sounds like a fantastic story. Does he talk much about... I mean, we're going to be speaking to him later on, so we'll get it from him as well. But, I mean, have you sat down and had the conversation with him about how he ended up in that position?
Yes, I have. I don't sort of pry or sort of dig for things, but yeah, he opened up a couple of weeks after working for me. And at Christmas, he spent Christmas Day with us because we sort of bonded now, sort of become sort of friends more than boss and sort of employee, you know. So yeah.
So he spent Christmas Day with you and your family?
Yeah.
It sounds like a Is there any part of you, Charlie? Because I know there'll be some people listening who would be a little bit suspicious. Do you know what I mean? Of someone who had spent 4 months homeless, who might think, I don't know if I really want to take a chance on them. Was there any part of you that thought, this is a bit of a punt?
No, not really. I've had my hands burnt before by people I've taken on, but Kev seemed down to earth straight away. And like I say, he came on, worked hard. I sort of said to him, what are you doing for Christmas? And he said, I'm doing nothing. And my wife said, well, I'm not having him spending Christmas on his own. I think that's probably our faith, our Christianity, sort of come out there. And that's where it went, really. He came round, and my kids love him. The little one, she calls him Uncle Kev, so it's sort of under a good friendship.
And he's a good worker, is he?
Oh, very good. Yeah, very good.
Hey, Charlie, you're a carpenter. Can I just go on a slight tangent? Can you build stairs?
Of course I can, yeah.
Do you know? Because we were a couple of years ago, we were getting a loft conversion done, and I'd never considered stairs. Okay, I never considered how difficult and intricate stairs are. It just seems like magic to me that someone could make a set of stairs.
No, it's pretty easy.
Is it easy?
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Oh, OK. Well, I thank you for indulging me, Charlie. But honestly, once you get into the world of stairs, you go to stair shops and stair magazines, and it's very... Anyway, Charlie, excellent stuff. Thank you. We'll be speaking to Kevin a little bit later on in the show and finding out just, how it went wrong and then how it turned right again. But a nice, optimistic story of hope. There. It's nice, isn't it? We don't do nice. We get told off for not doing nice stories.
Well,
often
there's
enough.
one. There's your lot.
There's one. Do you know what though? What's annoying me about that? I really fancy a Christmas dinner now. All the talk of coming around for Christmas, it just made me think. Oh, where are we? We're like 5-6 weeks after Christmas dinner, and I'm just kind of ripe for a bit of turkey and roast spuds.
You can have it again. There's no rule,
mate.
You'd have to wear the hat.
It just doesn't feel right though. Doesn't feel right. My boys, because it's been birthdays recently, they're always wearing party hats now. We've got loads of party hats in the house. We're just wearing party hats for S&Gs. Sorry?
Bring him in.
No, I can't, mate. One of them goes to school and the other one's annoying.
Bring the hats in.
08459 455
That's some more
555.
texts.
Yeah, go on, from Shirley.
Well, yeah, one. I get my text for free, thank you, goodbye. Do you promise?
Well, do you get your text for free if you send it 81? Anyway, good luck. But why would you use a different name? No matter.
She's got one name for being nice and one name for being rude, I think.
OK, well, that's
okay, we all have that.
That's her prerogative.
Morning, I love the show. Don't worry about what anyone else thinks,
we're not.
says Dave from Bedford, who's actually Elliot from Bath. And
also Shirley.
I loves you, Iain, Lee and Co. from Shirley's other personality and other phone. My friends call me Sam, but I'm Shirley's alter ego, I promise. Wow. OK, let's leave Shirley alone now, or Pam, or Jim, or Paula.
So Lego is still the number one toy of the whole
Is it a toy?
It's an annoyance. My boys, they love Lego, right? And I never got Lego. All I would do with Lego was build really tall towers and then push them over.
Do you know what would annoy me about Lego?
Yeah.
You build a nice house, you put the roof on. That last roof brick would always pop through, and you'd end up having to take the whole thing off.
Well, my boys get Lego and they want to do it properly, so they want to build their motorbikes or their. How do they even know about Star Wars? They're 5 and they're 3, and they'll get the box and they say, "Daddy, can you make this?" I go, "No."
Of course you can, the instructions in there.
No, even with the instructions, I can't do it, and I hate doing it. I'd actually rather have lit matches underneath my fingernails. I hate it.
Oh, no, I love it.
Lit matches under your fingernails.
I used to put Lego in my shoes to make me look taller for school.
But that's the hardest thing known to man under your foot.
Yeah, it hurt.
And they would say, "Daddy, please, can you..." I said, "No, I can't do it." Why not? Because I just can't do it.
Give me the box, I'll do it.
Well, their mum loves it. Their mum does it, and their mum does one of those kind of no, you've done it wrong. Give it to me. I'll do it. She does that.
That's me.
I hate Lego. Number 2, Monopoly.
What?
Hey, there was
That's not a toy.
There was a girl on Radio 4 the other day talking about how she got seriously in debt with credit cards. And she was putting all the blame on the credit card company. Of course it's their fault. We should not take personal responsibility. Her name, I can't remember her first name, so I'm going to make one up. Sally Monopoly.
Yes.
Sally Monopoly.
Wow.
Well, her surname was actually Monopoly.
That bit was true.
Wow.
Yeah. Otherwise, why would I... That's not a story.
Wait.
Sally Monopoly. Hate Monopoly. No one plays it properly. No one plays it properly. There's a rule, and I forget... Even I've forgotten the rule now. But there's a rule that would end the game days earlier, but no one follows it. Number 3 is Action Man.
We just used to use the houses as markers. We didn't even buy the houses or hotels.
I always like to be the car.
Did you?
I like to be the hat.
I like the Scotty dog.
Well, in that case, we're sorted.
We could have all played together.
Scare Electric is boring, because once you realise they just go round in a figure of 8...
I could never keep mine on the track. And yes, I did have a Scare Electric.
You guys are really putting a downer on my childhood.
And also people call it Scare Electrics. It's not electrics, it's Scare Electric. Subbuteo, boring.
No, that's fun.
It's not, mate. It's flick football.
Yeah, it's
you just sat there flicking away for hours with your mates.
Flicking away with my mates.
Boring. It's rubbish. I remember I went round to my friend Malcolm Richmond's house.
Oh yeah, how was he?
He's all right. And we played Subbuteo, and I was really excited. And like minutes into it, I thought, I've just stood here flicking away, and it's rubbish.
It is rubbish. And if you step on those little men, they're ruined.
Rubik's Cube, boring.
Boring. Just take the stickers off.
Star Wars toys.
Really?
Yeah, I did that.
Oh.
Or I used to
That's
prize.
longer. Surely that's longer.
No, it's cleverer. Or I used to prize the
blocks out.
The blocks out.
Yeah.
Then it's a bit wobbly.
It's just pattern, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's all to do with the pattern.
Just say that what you said again. It's just pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's maths pattern. It's boring.
Yes.
It's maths. It's they're trying to make maths fun, and it ain't, kids.
No.
Can be.
Number 7. Okay. Star Wars toys. These are all rubbish. Where's Xbox?
I found a Princess Leia. They didn't make them very pretty, did they? She had the same width head as the men.
Barbie. Matchbox cars. Matchbox car. And the number 10, top 10 toy is playing cards.
What?
Is this the 1800s? These are the most rubbish toys I've ever heard. Where's Xbox?
Although, fair play, Uno. I like Uno.
I got you into that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Did you
we
play
almost
the girls?
didn't get off the train because we were playing Uno.
Yeah, we got a bit of trouble with that.
I like blackjack.
Don't think you're allowed to call him that anymore.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, 2 lanes are closed between junction 27 for the M11 and 26 Waltham Abbey because of an accident and a fuel spillage, so that's causing around 20-minute delays. On the A1M southbound, it's looking very busy between junction 3 for St Albans and 1 for the M25. And on the M1 southbound, there are queues building up between junction 11 for Dunstable Road and 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road. On the A1 southbound, there are queues also building up between the St Neots Junction and the Black Cat roundabout through the roadworks. And in Hitchin, there are delays on the A505 Moormead Hill between Rotten Road West and Purton Road. That's because of the roadworks that are in place there. On the trains, there's a replacement bus running between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction. That's because of overhead line problems. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain after converting to Islam. Thomas Evans from Woburn Green joined al-Shabaab fighters in 2011. Jordan has executed 2 convicted jihadists a day after a video emerged showing Islamic State extremists killing a Jordanian Air Force pilot by burning him alive in a cage. And the M1 reopened at around 8:30 last night in Bedfordshire following yesterday lunchtime's crash. A lorry driver suffered 2 broken legs in the crash, which closed the motorway for 8 hours.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Manchester United are through to the 5th round of the FA Cup after a 3-0 win over League 2 Cambridge in last night's replay at Old Trafford. Here's the Cambridge manager, Richard Money.
Our organisation was good and couldn't fault them for work ethic and all of that, but we're just a little bit loose with the ball in the first half. Second half, we said at half-time, what's the worst thing that can happen? You get battered, you know? So come out and show everybody what you can do, and I thought we played well second half. You know, disappointing that we lost the second half, to be honest.
And Manchester United will now be away to Preston, who won 3-1 at Sheffield United. Also last night, Sunderland won 3-1 at Fulham to earn a trip to Bradford. Tonight, Liverpool are away to Bolton in their 4th round replay. In Conference South last night, Hemel Hempstead were 3-0 up against Wealdstone with 3 goals in the first 13 minutes, but the game was abandoned at half-time due to a frozen pitch. Luton's home game with Wickham in March has been moved for live television coverage. The game will now take place on Tuesday the 24th instead of Saturday the 21st. Hatters Andy Drury and Wickham keeper Matt Ingram have been nominated for the League 2 Player of the Month award for January, and the former Luton player Ken Hawkes, who played for the club in the 1959 FA Cup final, has died at the age of 81. Teenage striker Kishi Anderson has been telling BBC Three Counties of his shock at a deadline day move from Barton Rovers to Crystal Palace. The 19-year-old scored on his debut for Palace's development squad yesterday.
To be honest, I didn't believe it myself. At first it was only League 2 teams coming in and wanting me to come in and putting bids in kind of thing, and then it stepped up. League 1 teams were looking Championship, and for Palace to be coming in for such a player at such a low league, it was just I don't know, to be honest, can't even explain it.
The former Tottenham boss Tim Sherwood is the early favourite to succeed Harry Redknapp as manager of Queen's Park Rangers, and in rugby, England will name their team today for Friday night's Six Nations opener in Wales. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold. A brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we've paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while.
There's no more Fanny.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to
They're
give us
making a
call.
film out of that.
Well, no more Fanny. I've seen
Faraway
it.
Tree.
Oh, the Faraway Tree. Hey, I watched a really rubbish film yesterday. I've discovered that I like watching films. And so I watched a film that I would never have normally watched, but it was on Amazon. And now that Amazon have got rid of all the good films, I've started watching the rubbish films. And I watched a film because it's got Mark Ruffalo in, who I would totally...
He's gorgeous.
I think he's so dreamy. He's tiny. He's a wee fella. He's a little bit shorter than Kelly. He is.
Who cares?
Who cares?
No.
I would stand in a trench for Mark Ruffalo. I think
I
he's.
would.
Oh,
And his head's slightly too big, but I still love it.
I love his hair and his teeth
His lips.
and his stubble.
Have you seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Yeah, sure.
You see his spotless white tighty whities.
So I watched this film because it had Mark Ruffalo in it called Now You See Me.
Oh, yeah.
Now you don't. Now you see it. You can see it now. The doctor will see you now. Hello, is anyone there?
Yes. I can see it.
This, what would you like? I don't know what it's called. It's about magic.
Out of sight.
That's it, Out of Mind. It's called Out of Mind. It's called I'm Out of My Mind. It's called She's Out of Control.
What's the point in this really boring story anyway?
You've got mail. It's called You've Got Mail.
No, it's called She's a Female. And you can't see her. Sorry, she's busy. Part 2 on
With
the
Mark
rocks.
Ruffalo.
It's the Mark Ruffalo story. Don't be silly. Everyone knows there's no such thing as a Mark Ruffalo. You get that?
Yeah. Didn't you know?
So, didn't you know? It's a joke for mums and dads. Boys and girls.
He has beautiful teeth. and-
Ladles and jelly spoons. Please, would you welcome to the stage Mr. Mark Ruffalo? Mark, what was that film that you were in about magic? Now you see me, now you don't.
Oh, I would see you.
I thought it was called She's Got Females working for her.
Anyway.
So I
Was it
watched
good then?
No, it's rubbish. But I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. It's a little bit of fantasy for just under 2 hours.
Yeah,
It's
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Mark Radcliffe and Mark Ruffalo together, all explosive! Radcliffe and Ruffalo on the road
Can
in
someone
search of the
call in,
Gruffalo
please? If
and the
someone
Gradcliffe.
Call in.
Radcliffe. Oh, flippin' heck.
to this.
Radcliffe, Ruffalo and Radcliffe. It's a detective agency starring Mark Radcliffe, Mark Ruffalo and Paula Radcliffe. One knows if the crime is around music, one knows about it. If the crime is around movies or America, that's their specialist subject. And if the specialist subject is running or doing a poo in the street, that's Paula Radcliffe's. Together, they can solve music-based American pooing crimes.
I would watch that.
Anyway, so this movie, this groovy movie. Can we not?
Oh, I made myself laugh with that.
I mean, it's a bit early. You know.
Not well. You say early. What about this morning? Yesterday.
What about? I was going to say about that.
Philip Schofield and whoever's doing it now.
Oh.
Gotta have faith, faith. You gotta have faith, faith,
The one with the teeth in the face.
Baby, taking a tumble.
She's called.
Lady Mandela. Winnie Mandela.
No.
Lady Blacksmith Mambazo.
No. Lady with the massive mouth.
Oh, Cheech Chong.
You know, her.
Okay.
Off the telly. Anyway, they were watching two people having a romp.
All right, and just we're going to discuss adult themes here. They were doing Bondages.
Tickling stick they had.
It was incredible. Now, I've only seen the pictures, and
the Mail is furious about it.
Well, the Mail is so furious, they've reprinted the pictures.
With the caption underneath, inappropriate.
Yeah, I mean, but seriously, what were they thinking? I mean, it is outrageous behaviour.
I know exactly what they were thinking.
Anyway, this film was rubbish, but it was quite good. It involved magic.
Right.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I've got a magic set if you'd like to have a go of it.
No, because it turns out magic is really, really hard. It's not just saying magic words and waving your hands. You've actually got to be quite skilled.
I'm quite skilled.
You've got to be quite dexterous.
I can produce things from what appears to be an empty bag.
Kids. Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Do you get it, Kath?
She gets it a lot. She's got 2 kids.
There you go. It's a red card.
That was a red card. So, 08459 455 555.
Have you seen that film?
Have you seen that film? Anyway, then I started watching another film.
Has it got Ruffalo in it?
No, it's got Jude Law in it. I don't like Jude Law.
No, I don't. I think
he's not a
very
good actor.
Spiky.
I think he's in. You can see him. Someone who studied the theatre on acting, on performance. There are some actors you can see them acting. Mark Ruffalo, you cannot see him acting. Woody Harrelson was in it. You cannot see him acting. There was another fella in it I like. You couldn't see. Isla Fisher was in it. You could see her acting.
Yeah.
Jude Law, you can see him acting. You can just see it. You can see him going, right, well, you can imagine him at home with the marker pen highlighting his lines and counting up the words to see who's got the most words.
Is he mouthing the words when someone else is talking?
Pretty much.
I love watching the backgrounds people in films.
Okay.
I like to watch them really try. They really want the bigger part and they just haven't quite got there.
That's a great story.
It's better than yours. It's just told for about 7 minutes.
I've not even got to it yet.
Exactly.
I'm warming up.
Go on, Jude Law.
Anyway, and I do think he's in some good films, although his acting is rubbish. This film I was watching last night with Jude Law, basically, halfway through it, I'm not going to say what film it is because someone will ruin it for me, but it's quite a good film.
Is it about robots?
Oh, yeah!
Well, it's called artificial intelligence. That gives you a clue.
Well, A, I'm not watching that, and B, where did you get... I've not said artificial intelligence.
If it's about robots with Jude Law in it.
It's not got robots in it, I was lying.
Oh. Gosh, that's me. Completely duped.
Do you think they know that we're filling?
Shirley does.
Oh, wait. Where's Lockers? We sent them out on 2 jobs, and I've not got a coffee now.
I know. We've got that box we could play that Lockers did.
We're not having 3 hits of Lockers.
Wow. That was close.
Not as close as you last week when you actually said it.
No, I never.
08459
That's in the podcast, by the way.
If you want to hear
because I never said it.
you be the judge of that. More and more Britons. Why are we Britons and not Britans?
Don't know.
Because we are covered in woad and romping through the countryside, chasing off Saxons.
Bleakly.
Yes.
No, I mean we're doing it bleakly.
No, but it was her.
Oh, that's a coincidence.
Watching.
Gratitude is becoming a forgotten virtue.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Well, it doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
Yeah, it does.
with most people failing to show appreciation for what they have. 8 out of 10 of those who took part in the study said there was not enough appreciation for the lifestyle and freedom that Britons enjoys. 3/4 felt... What is this rubbish?
No one asks me on these things.
Well, there's the Jubilee Centre for Character and Virtues.
I'm not on their mailing list.
3/4 felt society should put more emphasis on both feeling and expressing gratitude.
Uh-oh. I've just seen Matt Lockwood walk past. I hope he doesn't come in here. Please don't make him come in here. Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Okay.
We're on the air, mate.
Okay. Go on. Are you finished?
The survey of 10,000 people found that half experienced ungrateful behaviour in the workplace. Yeah, don't I? Every day.
Yeah.
Every single day, I brighten your lives, and all you do is deride me.
I thought you liked being derided.
Depends who's doing deriding. Are we still going out on the air? Is everyone? I think
I've had a
everyone's...
notification on the Twitter.
Yeah, go on.
About Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, yeah.
I think we need to... I'm going to set an alert.
Can we get Mark Ruffalo on the show?
Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah.
OK.
Mark Ruffalo... You've spelt this wrong, Tim. Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk. No, he's a hunk. Or isn't he?
He's so good.
So dishy.
And he's replaced... My previous Hollywood male film crush was Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I was quite partial to a bit of Clooney, but now everyone fancies
It doesn't count because he's a man and you're a woman. Matt, who's my male Hollywood crush used to be Ryan Reynolds. It's now Mark Ruffalo. Who's your male Hollywood crush?
What's his name? Matt Damon.
Oh, not...
Bit obvious, mate. Bit obvious.
Is it? All right. Well, I'd say what's his face is more obvious. I don't think it's that obvious, really.
OK, you're going to go with Damon?
Yeah, Matt Damon.
Oh, do you know who I like?
Yeah, go on.
Female-wise.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Meg Ryan.
No.
Gina G.
No.
Trini Lopez.
No. She's got a brother. G. Maggie Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal.
Kate Robbins.
No. Gyllenhaal.
Well, I could get Kate Robbins on the show if you'd like.
I've got a number in my mobile.
Well, that makes it really, really creepy.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 anti-clockwise has delays from junction 26 Waltham Abbey to 27 for the M11 because of an accident involving 2 vehicles, and there's a fuel spillage as well, which is causing some problems. The M25 anti-clockwise is queues also between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. And on the A1M southbound, that's looking very busy on the cameras between junction 3 for St Albans and 1 for the M25. In Hitchin on Moormead Hill, there are delays between Person Road and Watton Road West through the roadworks. And in High Wycombe on the A40 London Road, that's looking very busy on the speed sensors through the centre of High Wycombe. On the trains, London Midland Services have a replacement bus between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction. That's expected to be in place until around 11 o'clock this morning. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah. 7:46, Wednesday, the 4th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. Jordan has executed 2 convicted jihadists a day after a video emerged showing IS extremists killing a Jordanian Air Force pilot by burning him. And a lorry driver suffered 2 broken legs in yesterday's lunchtime's crash, which closed the M1 in Bedfordshire for 8 hours.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's a chilly start across all 3 counties. Temperatures at the moment ranging between 0 and 1. So things starting to, I'm going to say warm up. I don't really mean warm. It's still very cold, but they are above 0. 1 or 2 showers. Had 1 or 2 snow showers overnight for some places. Still have 1 or 2 this morning as well. But they're unlikely to fall as snow really post now, I'd say, as the temperature will be that little bit milder. So some sleety, wintry showers throughout the day. It is going to feel cold, though, in the northerly breeze. The maximum temperature struggles up to just 4 or 5 Celsius. Overnight, it's a similar night. Could see 1 or 2 showers work their way towards us, especially over higher ground they could fall as snow. Minimum temperature down to -1, so an ice risk tomorrow morning. And for tomorrow, it's a similar start to the day. We have 1 or 2 bright spells, some wintry showers, but a northeasterly breeze is really going to pick up tomorrow afternoon, so it really will feel very cold. If we're looking at Met Office weather warnings, we have a yellow one in force this morning for snow and ice. Like I said, though, not so much in the way of snow perhaps today, but there is an ice risk out on untreated roads and surfaces this morning. That's your forecast.
Sorry.
If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
Well, no, you're from. You can give me your opinion as someone from the British Parking Association. Is it unfair?
Well, there are so many different instances that.
Okay, here's an instance.
Before then, in this part of the programme, I'm going to meet Sam Ackerman. Now, she's from High Wycombe. And at her heaviest, she weighed 21 stone.
Yeah, I think I had everyone around me just love me enough to accept where I was.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
And I used to have to put up with the house band who couldn't read my music very well and doing a lot of songs I didn't particularly want to sing anyway.
But the question is, Elkie Brooks, do you still do bar mitzvahs?
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Now, if you want to stay married or keep your relationship alive, should you avoid Facebook?
Allowing you to listen to what you missed. bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Well, someone was irritated enough by the last 15 minutes of all filler, no killer to call in. It's Penny. Morning, Penny.
Hello.
How are you today? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm cold. Isn't it cold today?
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to put my scarf on. It was getting at... What time do you get up in the morning, Penny?
6:30.
Blimey, you've got it easy. 3:57, my alarm goes off, and it goes off because I've worked out mathematically that I can have a 5-minute snooze, get up at 2 minutes past 4, and I can come into work and I'll be in time for work. But man alive, getting out of bed at 4 o'clock this morning, Penny, it was freezing!
It was.
Freezing! What have you got for us, Penny?
Well, my dad fits you on the radio every single morning.
Oh.
But I don't actually know what you're talking about.
Whatever?
No, not really.
Oh. Well, hang on a minute. You don't... so...
That's good.
Well, this morning it's good, shall we say. It's been a... How old are you, Penny? 27?
No, I'm 14.
14. OK, sorry. Wrong Penny. And your dad listens, and is your dad chuckling away to it when he's listening?
Yeah.
OK. And you don't understand any of it?
No.
Phew.
But what... well, give me an example of something we've said that you don't understand, because this is confusing me. I'm sure it's kind of quite logical to me.
Jude Law.
You don't know who Jude Law is?
Or what?
No.
OK, all right. No. You don't need to know Jude Law, because he's rubbish. But you must know Mark Ruffalo. Don't cry. Don't cry. I'm not having a go, Penny.
I'm not crying.
You should be a little bit, because if you don't know who Mark Ruffalo is, then what the hell are they teaching you at school?
Leave it to me, I can speak Penny's language.
Go on then.
You know Harry Styles?
Yeah.
He's like Harry Styles, but even more dreamy.
Oh, OK.
There you go. Happy to help.
I tell you what, right, listen, OK, you're right, and you point out an interesting thing here. We should be playing more to the younger audience, OK? What kind of music are you into, Penny?
All Time Low, Fall Out Boy.
All Time Low?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't ask you how you were feeling, my love. I just asked what kind of music you're into.
Yeah.
OK. All Time... That's a pop group, is it?
Yeah.
Right, hang on. What's your favourite song of theirs?
I don't really know.
Just pick one, Penny. We're here until 9 o'clock.
Sick Little Games.
What?
Sick Little Games.
Oh, God. Is that safe to play on the radio?
If your dad's listening, he should be stopping you from listening to this stuff. It sounds like...
I tell you what... all right, listen, OK. Tell you what, to appeal to the youngsters, the 14-year-olds, the teenagers, the future, as I like to call them. Penny, we're going to play that song. I've got it queued up. You introduce it. Away you go.
OK. Here's All Time Low with Sick Little Games.
I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor, and I don't like it very much. Oh no, he swallowed my toe, he swallowed my toe. Oh gee, he's up to my knee, he's up to my knee. Oh fiddle, He's reached my middle, he's reached my middle. Oh heck, he's up to my neck, he's up to my neck. Oh dread, he's followed by...
It turns out they're not bad, that band, are they, Kath? Falling Out of Love with the Bad Little Boy. That's not a bad band. They're good. I enjoyed that.
Excellent. I think they've got a future.
Excellent. Well, I wish them the very best luck, Penny. Excellent stuff indeed. Thank you for having a dad that has no taste whatsoever. The best ones don't. Now, a Watford man fears he may lose his job as the result of another motorist's carelessness. We mentioned this earlier on in the show. Alan Little's car was parked up when someone hit it and drove off. Well, it's in a bit of a state. Alan's on the line now. Morning, Alan.
Good morning.
Tell us what happened.
Well, on the 20th, just finished work at 5:30. Just came out to my car as normal. Turned round, looked at the doors, the wings, the headlights, all smashed to pieces.
Blimey, that must have been quite a shock.
It was. I was actually quite speechless. I didn't say anything. I just went across to my boss, who was just leaving, and said, "We've got a problem." And he couldn't believe it. Someone just basically just drove off, didn't leave any details.
And were there any witnesses or anything to this?
No, luckily now, a friend of mine works up the road in a security firm called Security Solutions. They actually, luckily, had CCTV. And it actually happened at 9:15 in the morning.
Blimey.
Not at night time, so...
So they... OK, so what, did they capture the accident, or did they capture the car driving away?
Both.
Oh, that must be a little bit of a relief.
It is in some respects. We haven't actually got a registration number, but the company across the road, Vending Express, has got... It actually come from that building, so we can narrow it down now to this company. So their life's in my hands, basically.
Okay, and do you know what type of car it was?
It was a lorry. It was a 17-ton lorry.
Man alive. And they didn't leave a note or anything like that? Because that's, we've discussed this kind of moral dilemma, and most people here would get out of the car and leave a note with their details on. They didn't do that?
Nothing at all. He actually reversed for a brief second and just floored it, basically, and drove out the estate.
Man alive. Well, OK, so you're talking to this company. Do you think you're going to get a resolution to this, Alan?
Well, as I said, it's all down to them now. There's nothing else we can do. The police obviously said the same. Until we've got a name of a company, obviously we can then double-check his delivery sheet and he'll have a signature in the name of the company.
OK. And this car is really important for your job, isn't it?
Well... It's the only car I've got, and as I said, I really shouldn't even be driving it.
Alan, listen, I wish you the best of luck. Let us know how you get on, won't you? Because I'm hoping that this will have a happy resolution.
Hopefully.
Alan, listen, thank you very much indeed for your time. 08459 455 555. The worst thing that happened to me, looked out the window of my flat one day, and I saw my car parked on the side, written off, and the police were clearing things up and getting into their car and driving off. And I ran down and said, "Hey, that's my car, what's going on?" They said, "Oh, the drunk driver smashed into it." Right?
They didn't think to knock the door?
No, they didn't. OK, so just written off. Took it into a garage. It wasn't written off. It was really bad. The side of the door and everything was smashed. Took it into a garage. They gave me a hire car. Parked a hire car in the same place. The roof blew off the block of flats opposite and wrote the car and fell on the car. Crushed the car. I swear to God that is true. The most annoying thing. And do you know what? If Matt Lockwood had been one of those people responsible for that roof or for that car, you'd have driven away, Matt.
Perhaps. It's an awful situation for Alan this morning. These people are a disgrace, aren't they, really?
Well, you are these people, Matt. You've done this.
I know. When I heard this, I thought I must confess to something I did a while back in my past. I'm not proud of it. But I was sandwiched between two cars. It was a narrow street. I must emphasise the word narrow. There were cars parked on either side. I pulled out and misjudged the angle and, scraped a car.
And you drove off?
Yep, drove off, left no note. I wanted to protect my no-claims discount.
You've taken this to the street, Matt?
I have. I went to the streets. I wanted to purge myself. I wanted people to say, you're a bad boy. Here's what happened. I want to confess something to you this morning.
Do you? I'm sad.
I feel guilty. I scraped somebody's car and then just drove off.
Oh dear, that's not good. I've had that done to me.
Luckily, the person that did it to me did leave a note, and she did leave the right number, so I got my car fixed.
Given your personal experience, what do you want to say to me?
Well, at least you feel guilty now. Not much you can do about it.
Do you think I'm a disgrace?
You don't look a disgrace.
Do you think I'm a bad human being?
Probably at the time you were.
I've got a confession. I want to get it off my chest. Are you prepared to listen to me this morning while you're smoking your cigarette? So many years ago, I was sandwiched between two cars, pulled out, not thinking about the space, and I scraped the car, caused a right mess, and drove off. Did not leave a note.
What do you want me to say? You should have left a note. I don't think you're a bad human being, no. I don't think there is bad human beings. I just think it was a bit inappropriate. You should have just left a note. I think everybody makes mistakes.
Has it happened to you before?
Not that situation, but I suppose, yeah, everybody's got skeletons in the closet they don't really want to talk about.
Have you got any skeletons? Anything you want to confess?
No, don't mind.
Perhaps you've murdered somebody? Perhaps you've cheated on your wife?
No.
Perhaps you've stolen something from a shop?
No, I don't know where you're going with this.
Perhaps you've lied to your children?
No, definitely not, no.
What do you want to say to me?
You should have at least left a note to apologise, and it wouldn't have been quite so bad.
Make me feel bad. Make me feel worse than I actually feel. Call me names. Go on. I need to purge myself.
You're an embarrassment to the rest of the road users. You're an absolute disgrace.
This is good. Keep it going. Keep it going.
I can't think of anything else. That'll have to do.
And that's how to get a smack in the face on the streets.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There were some problems on the M25. Anti-clockwise are queues building up between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. And also anti-clockwise between junction 28 for the Brook Street roundabout and 26 for Waltham Abbey. There are 10-mile queues building up after an accident and a fuel spillage in the road. On the A1M southbound, it's looking very heavy around junction 3 for St Albans to junction 1 for the M25. And the M1 southbound also looking very busy between junction 12 for Flitwick and 9 for Redbourne. On the A421 Standing Way in Milton Keynes, that looking very slow on the speed sensors around the Kingston roundabout with the roadworks there. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
When that goes off, and I muffed up the timings there, Sammy, you've got another 18 seconds to squeeze stuff in.
Really? Even though it's exactly 8 o'clock?
Well, it's not. We're late now. We haven't got any time now. Sorry about that.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Buckinghamshire family's anger as son fights with Islamic militants. Jordan executes jihadists. And new research says homeless figures are worse than thought.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. After converting to Islam, Thomas Evans from Woburn Green joined Al-Shabaab fighters in 2011. His brother Michael has told MPs it was a constant battle with him at home.
When he changed mosque, the way he practiced Islam changed completely. Every night he was at home would be an argument. Any discussion we'd have with him would be called racist. We were told numerous times we're going to burn in hell because we're not Muslims.
Jordan has executed 2 convicted jihadists a day after a video emerged showing Islamic State extremists killing a Jordanian Air Force pilot by burning him alive in a cage. One of those hanged was an Iraqi woman whose release had been demanded by Islamic State as part of a prisoner exchange. New research out today shows that the number of people facing homelessness rose to 280,000 last year, as opposed to government statistics of 52,000. The research, published jointly by Crisis and the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, argues that official figures are masking the true scale of the problem. Kevin Arscott is a former soldier who ended up homeless and living in Wendover Woods in Buckinghamshire. He's since been given a job by a local carpenter and has found a flat.
Can't express how good it is, to be honest. I said to someone the other day, it's like winning the lottery, but the money wouldn't mean anything to what I've got now. You know, that's how good things are at the moment, and I wouldn't swap it for the world.
The M1 reopened at around 8:30 last night in Bedfordshire following yesterday lunchtime's crash. A lorry went through the central reservation, leading to an 8-hour closure between junctions 13 and 12. The driver suffered serious injuries. It took 4 hours to release him. He was taken to hospital with suspected broken legs. Hertfordshire police say 2 people arrested on Monday afternoon after a serious collision in Hoddesdon will face no further action. A 28-year-old woman remains in a critical condition after the collision with a van in Stansted Road. A woman and a teenage girl were arrested. Researchers say half of all people in Britain will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives. Cancer Research UK says this estimate replaces the previous forecast of more than a third getting the disease. Harpal Kumar is their chief executive.
If we had fewer people smoking, if we had fewer people overweight or obese, if we did more exercise, if we reduced our alcohol consumption, all of these are things that can reduce our individual risk. When we talk about half of the population will get cancer, that doesn't mean that's the risk for any one individual.
Police are investigating after claims that drinks were spiked in pubs and clubs in Dunstable on Saturday night. 4 women separately contacted police to say they'd been unwell. In sport, Manchester United are through to the 5th round of the FA Cup after a 3-0 win over League 2 Cambridge in last night's replay at Old Trafford. The weather cloudy with scattered rain, sleet and snow showers, a maximum temperature 4 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Oh, it's blooming chilly, I tell you that. Ah, dear. So, you bump into someone's car, do you leave them a note or do you drive off? My wife had one of those notes that said, I've just hit your car, I'm writing you a note because someone's watching, but I'm not going to leave my details. Sorry!
Cheeky.
That actually happened.
My mum had a note from someone who said, I just seen this guy hit your car and drive off. Here's his registration.
Yeah. What else are we talking about?
Boring people.
Oh, yeah. How would you get rid of boring people? We were stuck having breakfast yesterday, Catherine and I, and a boring person joined us and spoke to us for 40 minutes about fly fishing.
The worst thing was we were sat near the wall, so we had to get past him to get out. There was no way at all. He had us there in a pincer move.
The younger members of the Three Counties team said, well, why didn't you just tell him to get lost? Matt Lockwood said he would have told him to shut up. I couldn't do that. 08459 455 555. And before 9 o'clock, we've not even mentioned this sex lessons for under 5s that's on the front page of the Daily Mail and isn't true.
It's not quite that, is it?
It's not true. It's simply not true.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Dave Luton's on the line. Morning, Dave.
Good morning, Geezer Boss.
What you got for us, fella?
Right, you asked a young lady on the radio this morning, who's Mark Boland? And she said, I don't know. And you went, well, hilarious.
Right,
but she didn't. No, hold on. Who's Mark Boland? Tell me, and tell all the other thousands in Luton and Bed, Bucks and Hearts. Who's Mark Boland?
Dave, I have at no point this morning...
good, here we go.
You haven't mentioned Mark Boland.
Mark Boland's from T-Rex.
From the T-Rex.
No, at no point this morning have I mentioned Mark Boland. Or as you called him, Mark Boland.
Oh, excuse me. Who's that young man you said? Mark who?
Who? Mark Boland? From T-Rex?
No, who's you mentioned? That young lady. Mark who?
Mark Wu?
Oh, God. No, hello? Oh, flipping it. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. And I didn't know you appeared on television until you told us 50,000 times.
Let's go to Phil. Morning, Phil.
Good morning, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
Well, years ago, I was driving home from work. I had a BT van in front of me, which was going slower than I was just going to get me off home late. So I knew if I took the next turning ahead of him, where he turned off left, if I took the next left, I could get ahead of him.
Yeah.
And I turned into this road, and it was covered in sheet ice, and the car just slid.
Uh-oh.
And he just went straight into a parked car.
Uh-oh.
Damage to the passenger door, the driver's door very badly. Knocked on house. The car was parked outside, but there was no answer there. So I wrote them. I left my details on the windscreen of the car. Reported it to the police on the way home, just in case.
Hey, look at you! You're a good citizen, Phil. I'm impressed.
I know. Some people would say different to that. But,
Well.
Anyway, I never heard a word, so I don't know.
Result! So you've got the clean insurance and you've got a clean conscience as well.
Well, I've got a clean conscience, but my car was damaged as well.
Okay.
But yeah.
What do you think? Because it's I said I've been tempted in the past to in the recent actually to walk away, and I just couldn't do it. I tried to, and I just couldn't do it, and I had to go back. And luckily, it was just a little surface scratch that kind of wiped off. But I've had that thing done where I've had my car parked in an NCP, actually, in High Wycombe. And I came back, and I spent the entire day in court with my mum, so it was a really crappy day. Come back to the car park, there's a massive dent in my car, and no note.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
Phil, listen, you're a good man. He went and knocked on the door. Huh?
Brave.
Brave. The two... if we put aside, for one moment, police officers having to knock on the door to break that bad news, the two worst knocking on the door things you can do, OK? Knock on the door to say, I've just smashed into your car. Knock on the door to say, I think I've just run over your cat. They're the worst things that you can do.
Kelly, have you ever told someone that you've hit their car?
Yeah.
That's how I met Kelly.
No, you are joking. Betsy?
Yeah.
Why?
I was brand new at driving.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm brand new at work.
I'm brand new at work.
You get like 3 months grace, don't you, for both of those things, I think?
Yeah, sure,
yes.
why not? And one of my first moments in the car park was hitting into Catherine's brand new car.
Gosh, that must have gone down well, and yet look how close you are.
Icebreaker.
How did I react, Kelly?
You were really sweet. She was really lovely.
Boom.
I was really scared.
My favourite thing here, you know Gary Floyd, who is responsible for BBC Introducing on a Saturday night?
He does the whole thing himself.
Yeah. He came up to me and he said, Iain, I'm really sorry, mate, I've hit your car in the car park.
Good.
Sorry?
Mm?
And I was trying to be all zen. I was like, okay, let's go and have a look. And I was trying to be really calm. Right?
Yeah.
And we walked down the stairs. It's a long walk. And fair play, he felt awful. Mm-hmm. We walked to the car park. And he pointed at the car, he pointed at the damage. He said, I'm really sorry. We'll sort this out. It's fine. And I went, you flipping idiot. You flipping... And I went mental at him. He said, all right, mate, calm down. I said, no, that's not my car, you plum. Boom! Taught him a lesson. 08459 455 555. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. Sally Evans from Woburn Green has been talking to MPs on the Home Affairs Select Committee as they attempt to work out how people like her son Thomas end up fighting alongside these militants. She says she'd rather see him behind bars than taking that path. Well, joined now by regular guest on the show, Professor Anthony Gleeson, Professor at the University of Buckingham and Director of the Centre for Security and Intelligence Studies. Morning, Anthony.
Good morning.
Are there enough measures in place or being put in place to prevent UK citizens becoming terrorists?
Well, the short answer to that is clearly no. We believe there are anywhere from between 600 to 1,000 British jihadists who are either planning to go to the Islamic State, the so-called Islamic State, or are already in the Islamic State, that is to say in Iraq and Syria, fighting for it. And the fact that these people exist in that kind of size suggests that whatever it is we're doing is not enough. And I think all the evidence points to the fact that we could be doing more in the two areas where things can really be done. And they are, first of all, the tough things that MI5 and the counter-terrorist police can do to stop people who have already been recruited, which is what Sally Evans' son seems to have been. And then secondly, the softer things to prevent people from being game for recruiters in the first place. And that, in my view, is primarily about education, schools and universities.
One of the issues that Sally Evans had was that her boy had attempted to fly out before and had been sent back. He tried to fly to Kenya but was stopped at the airport gate by UK officials. And she says that should have been flagged up and they should have been told about it.
Well, I think if that is what happened, that is true. We have an intelligence community, about 12,000 people, and it's very difficult for them to spot every single person. And it was also difficult for people to realise initially that if it sounded incredible. British people would want to go and fight for this murderous regime. We heard yesterday they burnt the pilot alive in a cage, that people would want to go and fight there. It just beggared belief. We didn't realise that they would want to do this and that they would try and get there, for example, by going to Turkey or by going to Africa and zigzagging their way towards Syria and Iraq. I think we do realise that better now, but even then there is a big problem. If you know who they are, what can you do about them whilst they're in the Islamic State? Answer: nothing. They might get hit by one of President Obama's drones, but that's not very strong likelihood. The big problem is, what do we do if they want to come back? And there again, we're split in this country. You have some people who say, well, they should come back. They're coming back because they realise they've been fighting for a bunch of murderous thugs. And then you have other people, of whom I'm one, who say, no, once you go forever. You never come back.
But we can't do that. We can't make them stateless, can we? That's not within our power.
Well, we don't have to make them stateless because they are fighting for the Islamic State. It's a great shame, it's a great disaster in Western policy, a great catastrophe for President Obama that the Islamic State is where it is. It is now a political entity. It should not have been allowed to become one, but it is now a political entity. Any British person that goes to fight for it literally swears allegiance to that state and has given up any allegiance they might have owed to this state. Now, I understand there are some people who are cracked, who have psychological problems, and they may wander off. But those people who make a deliberate choice, who are targeted, brainwashed, and recruited and go, in my view, they are lost for this country. They're lost for their families, and they're lost for their values. But there are many people out there, young, impressionable people, who may be toying with these things, who, if they are fully confronted by people in education, above all, may realise that the Islamic State is a group of murderous thugs, and that any decent young person would not want to have anything to do with them.
Anthony, always good to talk to you. I really appreciate the time. Professor Anthony Gleeson, Director for the Centre for Security and Intelligence Studies.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 anti-clockwise is closed between junction 27 for the M11 and 26 for Waltham Abbey because of a fuel spillage and an accident. That's causing delays from junction 28 for the Brook Street roundabout. It's also looking busy on the M25 anti-clockwise from junction 17 for Maple Cross to 15 for the M4. On the M1 southbound, that's looking very busy on the cameras between junction 12 for Flitwick and 9 for Redbourne. And in Milton Keynes, looking at the A421 Standing Way, that's very slow from the M1 junction 13 for Bedford down towards the Kingston roundabout because of the roadworks there. In Hitchin, looking at speed sensors on Parkway, and that's looking very slow between Gossamore Road and Black Horse Lane through the roadworks. And the A1 southbound's also looking very busy between the Kimbolton turnoff and the Black Cat roundabout. On the trains, there's a replacement bus between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction because of overhead line problems. They're expected to be going on until around 11 o'clock this morning. Samantha Breff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. 8:16. It is Wednesday, the 4th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. Jordan has executed 2 convicted jihadists a day after a video emerged showing Islamic State extremists killing a Jordanian Air Force pilot. And campaigners from Hertfordshire are back at the High Court in London for day 2 of an appeal against a controversial rail freight terminal near St Albans.
The Three Counties Radio. 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Have you hoovered your new carpet yet? Don't!
Why?
You're not supposed to.
No, that's the old-fashioned thinking, apparently.
Oh, what's the modern thinking? Update me.
Well, I say the old-fashioned method.
Yes.
I think it also
Mama knows best.
There's also a bit of an issue in terms of the quality of your carpet.
Did you see that? He gave me a little kick to the shins there, Catherine. Little kick to the shins.
A bit of ownership taken.
Cheap carpet.
No. If you have gone for very expensive carpet, like a Wilton carpet, that kind of thing, then the advice is, I gather, that you shouldn't hoover it for a little while to start with.
I don't hoover mine.
If you've gone for something in the January sale, then you can.
So are you hoovering your carpet or not?
I'm hoovering mine, yeah.
Okay. How many togs has your carpet got?
Togs?
Yes.
That's duvets. What are you talking about?
Oh, my God, I've had my house covered in duvet on the floor. No wonder it's so soft. I made a terrible mistake. I must phone up John Lewis. Okay, but have you still got that new carpet smell? That's the best thing.
Yeah, it's very nice.
2 or 3 days of just, being in a carpet showroom.
Yes, it is like living in a carpet showroom at the moment. Although, trying to keep my my black dog... away from the mud and then the carpet is going to be fun and games.
Get yourself a carpet cleaner. That was the best, probably 150 quid I've ever spent.
What's that, one of those shampoo machines?
Yeah.
I want to get one of those.
They're really good.
They're not. The ones you can buy are rubbish. No. You need to pay a company to come out and do it.
Come and have a look at my shag pile. Now I've shampooed it.
Oh.
You'll be impressed. Looks like a new carpet.
Maybe I could just borrow yours.
You can.
Oh, thanks.
Well, while you're borrowing hers, could you come and do mine? That sounds...
Are you carpeted? I always imagined your house would have, white tiles on the floor.
We've got tiles downstairs, and that was just because we...
Throughout downstairs?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Very Spanish.
It is. It was...
Like a morgue.
It wasn't my choice. When we bought it, it was like that, and I wanted carpet put down, and my wife was like, yeah, we'll get carpet put down. And we moved in, we're going to need carpet put down. We have carpet up the stairs and all upstairs.
But is it warm enough?
I don't like it, no.
Why not?
Well, I want carpet. I like carpet.
But it's more practical tiles. I mean, as long as you've got underfloor heating, it's very practical, isn't it?
We turn the underfloor heating is... That's a big con of the 20th century, underfloor heating. So are we middle class?
I blame that Kevin thingy.
What?
From the...
Kevin Webster?
Kevin MacLeod.
Yeah.
Mudstix Webster. Kevin MacLeod, what?
Yeah.
What's that?
He made us think that was normal, underfloor heating.
No, mate, it's expensive.
It is expensive.
And it don't work.
No, I had it in a bathroom a few years ago. Didn't work, really.
Rubbish, no.
You had to have it on charging up for hours and hours before it was even lukewarm.
It's a con. Anyway, I could talk about this literally for...
It's been fascinating.
It really has, hasn't it? I'm just saying, if Sunday afternoon, I know that you're not working, I'm not working, a little 2-hour... homey type show.
Are you pitching a new idea for a show?
Will I get paid?
What will we do? Just talk about carpet?
Talk about cars. You
home
can be
decor.
Catherine can be Sarah Beanie.
Yep, I can. Except I'm not getting pregnant with that.
I was going to
say ferocity that she does.
You'd have to be pregnant about 15 times.
I'll be at home. Not listening.
Thanks very much indeed. Listening to unsigned bands and indie music. What's on your show? I've got a guest coming up. So what? Sorry, we've been chatting too long. What's on your show today?
Well, on the big phone in today, we are talking about the horrific news that is all over the front pages of the paper, and this has been going on for months, really, hasn't it? We've been opening our papers, we've been confronted by images of innocent men in orange boiler suits moments before they've been beheaded. Well, earlier this week, militants pushed a man off a building as a punishment for being gay, and then on discovering the fall had not killed him, they then stoned him to death. And now, a Jordanian pilot has been burnt to death in a cage as Jordan had refused to release hostage ISIS militants. Well, Conservative MP Richard Ottaway is the chair of the Commons Foreign Affairs Committee. He's told the BBC Britain needs to do even more to arm troops from neighbouring countries fighting on the ground. Well, from 9 this morning, I'm going to be asking you this question. Do you think we should be doing more to fight ISIS? It does kind of feel, doesn't it, recently, as if not a lot is going on. Mm-hmm. It does feel as if we're not hearing what Britain is doing
to deal with these dreadful, dreadful people. And the reason about, I mean, this burning of this guy to death, I mean, these people are monsters.
Yes, thoroughly unpleasant.
They are monsters. But what are we doing about it? And should we be doing more? From 9 this morning, I'd like your views, your reaction on 08459 455 555.
Every weekday from 12.
We're talking to Alice Jones about her journey, which has landed her in the arms of Youthscape.
When I was 5, my dad left our family. It's your first inclination to go, oh, I must have done something naughty.
Nick Coffer.
I was in a really vulnerable place. The people at Youthscape, it is literally their job to show you that they love you and care about you and whatever you're going through.
Every day my job's a privilege, but every once in a while it's an even bigger privilege because I get to meet people like you.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, last year we told you how a woman had been spotted sleeping rough in Wendover Woods. She's been there for quite a while. It seems she's not the only one. Oh, hang on. We can talk to Kevin Arscott, who's a former soldier who used his survival skills to live there for a while. Morning, Kevin.
Morning.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you serve in the military?
I was in the Grenadier Guards. Served 6 years. 3 years of that was first of all training because I joined as a young lad at 16, and then I had 3 years in the regiment.
And how did you end up being homeless?
I split up with my partner, and things weren't going well. So we called it a day, and. I ended up getting depressed. I ended up losing my job where I lived. It was a knock-on effect.
Just one of those things. One thing went wrong, and it kind of snowballed. Really.
Yeah, there's a bit of a domino effect on it. So
But what was the moment, Kevin, where you'd gone from sleeping in a bed, to sleeping in the woods?
I just couldn't afford where I was. I had the choice of becoming into debt, and not being able to support myself. So I just kind of cut my losses and just thought, right, pay everything off and, yeah.
And was there... I think I know the answer to this question, but, you had served your country, you'd served in the military. Yeah. There will be people listening who are shocked that someone who has made that sacrifice had nowhere to go. There was no support for you.
I suppose the part of it is asking for help, innit? Military guys, it's what we do, innit? We don't really ask for help, we just get on with it. We set ourselves a task or a mission, we just crack on. We just, And
is that what it felt like, living in the woods for 4? Did it feel like you were on a mission?
I think I was, a little bit to, find myself. It was time out to think about what I want to do with my life, where I want to go, and just trying to evaluate things, think about all the mistakes you've made and, what you want to do in the future. How are you going to change your life? How are you going to make a difference to everyone else?
What was your daily routine, Kevin?
I used to work for a traffic management company, so I used to work nights all the time.
Right, okay.
So it's not the best job to have in the world.
No, working nights, it drives you nuts, doesn't it? It really can affect you. And then when you ended up being homeless and living in the woods, what did you do? Where did you sleep and what did you do for the day?
I just made myself a little basher. And
a little what?
A little basher, like a little, twig stick hut type thing.
All right, yeah.
In the ground, so it was all concealed so no one could see anything, and I just went for little walks around, just taking time to reflect.
And did anyone bother you? Did anyone disturb you at all?
No,
You were completely
really.
hidden?
People walk past me like I was just out having a walk.
What happened, Kevin? How did it turn around?
Basically, it really rained heavy one night, and I got absolutely soaked. And I thought, I'm going to end up with hypothermia because it does get pretty cold up there. Because it's the highest point as well in Buckinghamshire, so it gets to like -1, -2.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely soaked, so I decided to go and jump in a bin full of cardboard to warm myself up, insulate it. just to keep myself warm so I didn't, end up getting hypothermia or anything.
Yeah.
And in the morning, obviously I fell asleep in there, and the cafe owner, John, he came to drop some recycling in and, scared the life out of him.
John, we've spoken to John before because it was John, wasn't it, that we spoke to? Yeah. Who runs a cafe, because he also told us about this woman that was...
the lady in the woods.
Yeah. So what did John do?
He asked me if I'd like to get out of the bin and if I wanted a coffee, and a chat, and I think he was intrigued to find out why I was in his bin.
It would be a little bit of a shock, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Fair play to the guy, if he did run a mile, but he came back,
And we spoke to your new boss. Things are kind of on the up now. You've got a job. Have you got a home now, Kev?
Yeah, I've got my own. I'm in a house share, so I've got my own room and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's going really well.
And you're learning a trade?
Well. Yeah, I'm apprenticeship in carpentry.
I don't know if you've got the patience for that. I
look at it and it's like, that's the task. It's the end product, and you're giving it to someone else and they're going to love it for however many years until it breaks, I suppose.
And how are you doing, how are you doing mentally? You said that, you took a beating and you were depressed. Are you feeling better within yourself?
Oh, yeah, loads better. Loads of real strange things have happened in the last 12 weeks. I've managed to, get a job which has been able for me to fund, my own place. Everyone at church, I go to a local church, they've all been massive supported at the Aylesbury Vineyard Church. I'm now in a play about ex-soldiers leaving the army. It's called Bravo 22 Company.
Where's that on?
At the Aylesbury Waterside Theatre.
Brilliant. So carpentry, bit of acting.
Yeah, and the ambassador for that is Ray Winston.
Oh, okay.
So I met him 2 Saturdays ago as well.
It's nuts, isn't it? What a turnaround in the space of a couple of months.
But, everyone asks, what's it like? And I suppose when you want it, you've got to get it. You've got to ask for help, because... Army guys, say, for instance, a lad in the army, went to Afghan and lost his legs. You think, right, well, he needs the support more than I do. So you don't ask for it. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of work on that basis if you've, served. You always think there's someone else that's worse off than you.
Kevin, I could talk to you more. I've got to move on because I've got business to do. Can I make one suggestion?
Mate. Yeah.
Write a book.
Write a book, all right.
Seriously, listen, you've achieved this much in the last few months. Write a book. I'd buy it.
All right, cool. Thank
Kevin,
you.
nice to talk to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Well, what an amazing turnaround there. Kevin, thank you for that.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1 Great North Road, there are queues building up from Tempsford towards the Black Cat roundabout. In Milton Keynes, looking at the A421 Standing Way on the cameras, it's very busy, but around the M1 Junction 13 for Bedford towards the Kingston roundabout with the roadworks that are going on there. In Amersham on Gore Hill, that's looking very slow between the A413 and London Road. And in High Wycombe on the A404 as well, that's very busy between the M40 Junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout and Marlow Road. Looking at the M25, there's a few problems. Anti-clockwise, it's just looking very busy between Junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. And further afield, anti-clockwise, it's 2 lanes are closed between Junction 27 for the M11 and 26 for Waltham Abbey, with 10-mile queues from Junction 28 for the Brook Street roundabout. On the trains, London Midland have resumed a normal service again between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction after the overhead line problems earlier. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Jordan has executed 2 jihadists a day after a video emerged showing Islamic State extremists killing a Jordanian Air Force pilot by burning him alive in a cage. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. And campaigners from Hertfordshire are back at the High Court in London for day 2 of an appeal against a government decision to give a controversial rail freight terminal near St Albans planning permission.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Manchester United are through to the fifth round of the FA Cup after a 3-0 win over League Two Cambridge in last night's replay at Old Trafford. Here's United manager Louis van Gaal.
Not only for the players, also for the club, for the fans, but also for the coach. And my staff also. We want to win a title this year. And the biggest chance is the FA Cup. But we have to win still 3 or 4 games to do that.
And Manchester United will now be away to Preston, who won 3-1 at Sheffield United. Also last night, Sunderland won 3-1 at Fulham to earn a trip to Bradford. Tonight, Liverpool are away to Bolton in their fourth round replay. In Conference South last night, Hemel Hempstead were 3-0 up against Wealdstone with 3 goals in the first 13 minutes, but the game was abandoned at half-time due to a frozen pitch. Luton's home game with Wickham in March has been moved for live television coverage. The game will now take place on Tuesday the 24th instead of Saturday the 21st. Hatters Andy Drury and Wickham keeper Matt Ingram have been nominated for the League Two Player of the Month award for January, and the former Luton player Ken Hawkes, who played for the club in the 1959 FA Cup final, has died at the age of 81. Teenage striker Keishy Anderson has been telling BBC Three Counties of his shock at a deadline day move from Barton Rovers to Crystal Palace. The 19-year-old says he will always be grateful to Barton.
I've been here for the last 4 years. It's pretty much like home. Like the lads are all great to me. Like when I come into the first team last season, like they all welcomed me. Like they knew how good a player I was, and they all did say from like a while back that you'll definitely make it kind of thing. It's just working hard, and last season it was a bit of a step forward, 2 step backs, but then this season like they've all helped me like to push forward and keep my head down and keep training.
The former Tottenham boss Tim Sherwood is the early favourite to succeed Harry Redknapp as manager of Queen's Park Rangers, and in rugby England will name their team today for Friday night's Six Nations opener in Wales. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, you're driving along, you dink a car, or maybe you hit a car quite hard. Would you stop and leave a note on there? We had one fella phoned up who said, well, he knocked on the door, there was no one there. He went and left a note, and he never heard from them again. Would you do it? You'd have to, wouldn't you? We spoke to a guest earlier on whose car is, smashed to pieces by a truck that hit it and then just drove away. Our very own Matt Lockwood has got previous on this. He's hit cars and driven away. It was years ago, police officer. You didn't... Why did you drive away, Matt?
I drove away because... I wasn't thinking, was I? And I wanted to protect my no-claim discount.
That's why. You did it to save yourself a few quid.
I mean, it would have cost a fortune. I say that the side of the car was scraped. There was a big dent in it. You know, I was a chicken, a coward. I shouldn't have done it, but I'm glad that this item has given the opportunity to confess.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call about that. And also, and we're going to do this, Matt. If people want to phone up and castigate you,
they can do. Yeah,
they can do that. They can come on air and they can address you directly and tell you exactly what they think, can't they, Catherine?
They absolutely can. So if you would like to castigate Matthew. 08459 455 555.
It's a feature we're calling Castigate Matt.
Yeah. The streets were too kind to me this morning, really. They just says, you did a bad thing, it was a long time ago, you should feel a bit guilty. But nobody says, you're bad and how dare you and you're a disgrace, so...
Do you know what? I think we can all sympathise. If you've ever done something like that, your initial reaction is to bolt.
Yeah.
And most of us would turn around, Matthew. Most of us.
Well, it was such a narrow street as well,
No.
The car, actually. No, I could not open the door.
You could have pulled off and parked somewhere else, mate.
But then I was round the corner, so I just...
Well, then you get up and you get... Hang on a second. Andy?
Hello.
You want to have a word with Matt, do you?
I do, yes.
Go on.
Matt, I did exactly the same thing.
Oh.
Well, there you go. There you go.
But I didn't walk away. I got out and put a note on the car. I felt awful, but the problem with it is, in some ways, I don't think I'll ever do it again.
You're too nice, Andy.
What did you write in the note, Andy?
I said, I'm so sorry, I've tapped your car. It was a 1-inch scratch on the side of it. It was tiny, but I felt bad. So I wrote a note. A year goes, 6 months goes by in the premium, and it went from 400 to 800.
Well, yeah, but you did the right thing, though.
I don't think so now, man.
Andy, we're losing you a little bit. I'm not sure what he said there, but...
It was something honest, unlike you, Matt.
Yeah.
I thought that was my Woody for a second there. That was actually his phone line, wasn't it?
That's correct, Matthew.
Good,
yes.
good.
Yes.
Right, that's...
08459 455 555 if you want to speak to Matt. But that's not the only thing we've sent you out on. Catherine and I yesterday had a very dull breakfast. Normally our breakfasts are full of witty, offensive banter.
And beans.
And we were at Prizzy's yesterday, Prisoners' Wives, and we sat down and we were joined within minutes by the most boring man in the world. I can say that because even if he has the radio on now, he won't be listening to us. He'll be talking to us about fly fishing, which he did for 40 minutes. It went on for so long that I thought, I'm going to see how long I can push this guy for. And instead of doing, we started off the first 15 minutes both doing the all right, yeah, that's interesting. After
I could have said anything because whatever I said, he completely ignored.
He was having none of it. After 15 minutes, I ordered a second round of breakfast and I started engaging him and asking him questions.
Under the table by me.
Yeah, but we came back and all the youngsters and the kids went, "Hey man, you should have told him to jog on, man. Hey man, what are you doing, man? He's an idiot." Jen, who works here, who looks like butter wouldn't melt, but I bet there's a lot of melted butter on Jen.
Yeah, butter will melt.
Butter will melt in her mouth.
And then Matt Lockwood said, "I'd have told him to shut up."
Yeah, tough guy, Lockers.
Yeah, you indulged him. I don't know why.
08459 455 555. You've taken it to the streets, Matt.
Yes, I've taken it to the streets to get people's views, different opinions. It starts off a little bit awkward because a man's withdrawing some money from a cash machine.
Oh, flipping heck.
Sat next to a boring man. I know you put in your PIN number, that's okay. Go on.
No, I don't think so.
All right, well, I won't look at you while you're putting your PIN in. Go on, put your PIN in. Right, you're in a cafe. You're sat next to a boring man. He comes over, speaks to you for no reason. Now, I would tell him to jog off.
Yeah.
Ian Lee indulged him. Who's right? What do you do in that situation? It's really boring. He's saying, "I like fly fishing. I wear beige clothes."
I wouldn't chase him off like that. I'll, carry on talking to him.
Really? Even though he's really boring?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it might be boring for a little bit, but after a while he must start to make sense.
No, he doesn't. He just gets more and more boring.
Well, I'll get up and I'll leave, but I wouldn't be rude to him.
Why would you not be rude to him? You don't know this man.
But he's not being rude to me, so why should I be rude to him? Yeah, but
he's just a stranger. Just say, "Look, I'm having a conversation here with somebody else. Don't know why you've joined it. Get lost."
Well, you're boring me right now, and I'm not going to tell you to get lost, am I? So,
how rude!
Now you see that?
How rude!
Okay.
You're a woman.
Sorry?
You're a woman.
Yeah, well done.
Right. What's your opinion on boring men?
I haven't got time for them.
I work at BBC Three Counties Radio. I've got a scenario to put to you. You sat in a cafe with your friend. Some boring man joins you. What would you do?
Probably ignore him.
So you ignore him. He keeps on talking. What would you do then?
I don't know what else I'd do. Just tell him to shut up.
Shut up?
Yeah.
And what if that person turned around and punched you in the face?
I'm 65 years old. They wouldn't do that to me, would they?
Well, they might do. We don't know, do we?
These days, you don't know, do you?
This boring man might be really aggressive.
Well, I'll probably get up and leave. I don't like confrontation, so I'd get up and leave.
Well, you're a very boring man, Matt, and most of those people decided to speak to you.
How very rude.
You'd have probably got on with this fella.
How dare you?
Well, no, I'm being polite.
You know what the punchline to this conversation was as well, that we endured for 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Right.
He was talking about fishing for 40 minutes.
But
then Ian offered me up as someone to go fishing with, and he went, "Oh no, I've been fishing for 20 years.
There we go.
Doesn't even do it anymore."
Any sensible person would have just left, would have ate their breakfast very quickly.
No, I don't want to eat my breakfast quickly. That bacon gives me indigestion.
We were living in hope that he was going to leave us to it.
Yeah, because he was finishing up. Glenn's on the line. Morning, Glenn.
Morning, Ian.
Do you want to speak to Matt, or should I get rid of him?
I like Matt.
Sorry?
I like Matt.
I don't understand that sentence.
Should we find out how Glenn deals with a boring man?
Yeah, go on, you two, have a chat.
So, Glenn, how would you deal with a boring man?
I just get up and go.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's it. I haven't got the bottle to say, "Listen, you're boring," and leave me alone. So I would just, say, "I've got to go now." Leave.
Right.
But yet you're still talking to him, Glenn.
But I'd have gone then.
He's gone. What have you got for us, Glenn?
Well, he was on about car accidents.
Yes.
when I was 17, and this was a long time ago, I was driving a forklift truck. Those ones you sit on the side.
Oh, I'd love to drive a forklift truck. I really would.
I heard this noise, and then the forklift truck started to slow down. And when I looked, I was attached to a brand new car.
Whoa! What happened?
I hit a car and I was dragging it.
Glenneth! What?
So,
go on.
So what I did is I stopped.
Yes.
I pushed the forks out, which released it, and I picked it up and took it back in its spot where it was. I looked at the car was brand spanking new. It was only a day old. It was when X registration. I'm doing 26 miles.
I remember when X registration came out. They were a bit sexy at the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, I found out whose car it was, and it was a contractor that used to work for us when I was. So I rang him up. I said, Terry, I've just smashed your new car.
Yeah.
He said, no, you haven't. I said, I have, honestly. And the mood changed. He said, well, you wait there. He said, I'm going to come and see you. I said, I can't. I've got to go and catch the bus home. So I saw him coming up the car park as I was leaving the building. And I had to deal with him the next day. £800 worth of damage.
Glenn, listen, thank you very much indeed for being really honest about that situation there in Flipping Heck.
I had a text from Logical John.
Hello, Logical John. LJ.
He says, unfortunately for Matt, it was my car that he hit. However, I'm willing to be charitable and forgive. If he meets me in the 3CR car park with £500 in used notes in an envelope, we can say that's an end.
I've been thinking about the 3CR car park, and
why?
Often it gets. I do. Often it gets very, very busy, but oftentimes it's empty, and I think that we are making not the best use of that. How would we go about organising cockfights or
They're illegal, aren't they?
Sorry?
Illegal?
I would do it. I would do these cockfights differently to perhaps how you're imagining them.
Okay.
Or bare knuckle fights.
Again,
there's nothing illegal about two men pounding each other with their bare fists. It's romantic.
I think it is, if it's just for entertainment purposes.
Yep.
But you're thinking bets, aren't you?
I'm thinking...
No, leave me out of this.
Putting bets on. No? Placing bets.
Betting will be involved. She'll be walking around in tight shorts holding up cards with numbers on. The numbers will be irrelevant to the what's going on. I just think that the BBC, let's be honest, cutbacks. We've had a lot of bad press recently for... I think we know what. Operation Newtree, thanks for nothing. But this would be a great way of getting the community involved with the BBC and raising a few quid for us.
Or...
Yep.
What's that noise?
Who's got radiation? What? Matt, what are you doing, mate?
Matt, are you switched on? Matt, what have you pressed?
Get out.
Or we mark it up. You know, like a school playground.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Is Matt soiling himself in there? That is disgusting.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Milton Keynes, it's looking quite busy on the A421 Standing Way around the Kingston roundabout between there and the M1 junction 13 for Bedford. That's looking very slow on the speed sensors at the moment. In Amersham on Gore Hill, that's very busy between the A413 and the A40 London Road. And looking at the motorways on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's still very slow between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. And anti-clockwise, 2 lanes are still closed between junction 27 for the M11 and 26 for Waltham Abbey, with long delays from junction 28 for the Brook Street roundabouts. Looking at the train departure boards, there's no reports of any major delays at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 8:45, Wednesday, the 4th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The Foreign Secretary, Philip Hammond, says the international coalition will do whatever it takes to defeat Islamic State following the killing of a Jordanian pilot. The family of a Buckinghamshire man who's fighting alongside Islamic militants in Somalia say there was a massive failure by the UK authorities in allowing him to leave Britain. And campaigners from Hertfordshire are back at the High Court in London for day 2 of an appeal against a controversial rail freight terminal near St Albans. More of your phone calls coming up after the weather with Kate.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's another chilly start, and they're not quite as chilly as it has been. The temperature outside ranging between 0 and +1 across all three counties at the moment. 1 or 2 snow showers overnight. Haven't seen too much this morning. Could get 1 or 2, particularly over higher ground, but it's more likely, if you get anything falling from the sky, it's more likely to be sleet and rain. The Met Office, however, do have a yellow weather warning in place for snow and ice, but ice being the more predominant problem this morning, as many stretches that haven't been treated out in the countryside could be fairly slippery. So a chilly day, 1 or 2 showers expected, but as I've explained, it's probably likely to fall as sleet and maybe some rain. The maximum temperature, though, a chilly 4 Celsius, especially in that northwesterly breeze. Overnight tonight is going to stay cold. Some scattered wintry showers working their way down from East Anglia. Actually, they're coming down through the Wash and coming out towards the Chiltern. So we could get 1 or 2 snow flurries overnight, and also some icy conditions developing. -1 being the minimum temperature. So a similar start to tomorrow. The one difference tomorrow, a northeasterly breeze starts to really ramp up in the afternoon. It's coming from the continent. It is very, very cold, so it's going to feel raw by the end of tomorrow. Maximum temperature 5 Celsius, but it's probably not going to feel that. And that breeze is going to stay with us through Friday as well. So a bitterly cold end to the week, and that's your forecast.
Every weekday morning.
Let me get on with your consumer problems.
Should I expect it to last as a £350 TV or a £250 TV?
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
Have you gone back to the retailer? I went and spoke to the company that you'd paid the money to.
The JVS show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
So I emailed again and reminded them of the statutory rights, which I've heard in your programme.
If you need our help, email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk.
They've backed down and they have put in writing to me that I no longer owe the money.
And we could do the same for you.
That's fantastic news. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Your team is fantastic because you look after the people.
The JVS Show. Weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
John, what you got?
You're leaving notes on a vehicle.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah, when I was a dust cart driver, I was reversing into a cul-de-sac and just changed a member of my team, someone that didn't know what they were doing.
Okay, yeah.
So I was shouting instructions to him in the dark, early in the morning, and I reversed into a car at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Hang on a sec. So who was doing the driving?
I was.
What? Why have you blamed it on... You're trying to blame it on the other fella?
No, I take all full responsibility. I was shouting out the window because he wasn't...
John, you've just said we had a new fella working on the team who didn't know the ropes, and you were shouting at him, and then I bumped a car.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But I take responsibility. But he wasn't listening to what he was told to do.
You weren't looking at where you were going.
I was trying to multitask. You know, blokes can't do that.
I can't do it when I'm driving. The only multitasking I can do when I'm driving is finding a CD, texting my... I'm joking, of course, but I can find a CD. But yeah, no, I could... especially reversing one of those big blooming things.
It was only 24 tonne when it was full.
Oh, is that all in that case? I'm assuming the car was badly damaged.
It wasn't, to be fair. I left a note on the fella's car.
Yeah.
When I got back to the depot, they said, I've had a phone call from someone. You backed into a car in Buntingford.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah. He said, he's not overly fussed. He said, it's an old car, so they're not doing it. He's not going to pursue it.
Hey, flip. That's the result, isn't it?
Well, I did offer to actually pay for it. It's only the bumper. It's a Mark 1 Astra. That's how long ago that was.
Oh, flipping it. Hey, are you still a binman?
No.
When did
I had a disagreement with my manager, and he didn't want to sort it out the same way as I did.
You sound like real trouble. You do, John.
I'm a lorry driver. We're all like that.
There you go, John. Thank you very much indeed. Blimey.
A binman.
Binman.
I watch the binman sometimes.
So there's a made-up...
They nearly hit my car almost every week.
Those guys know exactly what they're doing. He said never wanting to diss a bin man, although I don't know why they can't pick up something that's next to the bins for crying out loud. So there's a made-up story on the front page of the Daily Mail. No. Yeah, it's made up. Sex lessons at 5 under Labour. God, kids are going to learn about penises and woo-woos and all of these things.
They probably just have from you then.
Children age 5 will have sex education classes if Labour wins the election. So this is
right.
A little bit stirring it up so that we...
Frightened.
Yeah. Tristram Hunt said yesterday the subject would go on the primary school curriculum to tackle homophobic bullying. Oh, OK, right, well, that's a good thing. The lessons are currently given only to children of secondary school age. OK, so you're all thinking, wow, this is outrageous. I don't want my kids to be taught about the ins and outs, literally and metaphorically. Labour sources said Mr Hunt, who's the party's education spokesman, wanted... Oh, hang on a second. Age-appropriate teaching about sex and relationships. Oh, hang on a second. Age-appropriate and about relationships. Suddenly it's a little bit different. It's not all pinkies and perkies. To begin in stage 1, when pupils are aged 5 to 7. They claimed... Here we go. Labour make you sick, don't they? When you hear this next sentence, how sick do Labour make you? They claim the move would also help tackle the problems of domestic violence and rape. Oh, hang on a minute. So it's not this goes there and you put this there and then you play with this.
It's about the feelings and relationships that go
It's
with all
about relationships. But campaigners warned against sacrificing childhood innocence for the sake of political correctness. Well, they're not. Margaret Morrissey of Parents Out Loud said, "We need to let children be children. Are we really saying that at the age of 5, children have to put their childhood behind them and learn about all the things that adults have to deal with?" Well, I can answer that question, Margaret. The answer is no. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is, wouldn't it be good if at 5 that young people started to learn about relationships and what's a functioning relationship and what's not a functioning relationship? Because, hey, guess what? I would imagine that a lot of those 5-year-olds aren't seeing functioning relationships at home.
Well, and also, aren't we always concerned about the sort of things that teenagers are sending each other because they have managed to detach the physical from the emotional?
Margaret Morrissey continues, I understand that politicians are looking for eye-catching ideas to win the election, but I would say to them, please don't sacrifice our children's innocence. Well, Margaret Morrissey from Parents Out Loud, I understand that you're looking for eye-catching ideas so you get quoted on the front page of the Daily Mail, but please don't talk out of your bum.
Well, I wonder whether she actually got a phone call and was having a conversation with someone and it was told selected extracts.
Here we go, next one. Simon Calvert of Christian Concern said the explicit material already used in schools would shock many parents. Well, explicit, I mean, they're not showing them pornos.
Don't they normally get the parents in before they start a course of this sort of stuff, so you can see exactly what you might have to deal with at home, the questions that may arise?
For 3 decades, he says, the cry has been that we must have more sex education of a more explicit nature. Who's been saying we must have more explicit sex education? Who's been saying that?
14-year-old boys?
And therefore... of a more explicit nature at an even younger age. And look where it's got us. We should end the defeatism that says children will inevitably be exposed to pornography and engage. They are! They get it on their mobile phones. My mate Wayne brought a copy of Razzle into school when we were 13 and we passed it around. Razzle. Do you know what? That was nothing compared to what they can dial up on their telephones.
They used to find those magazines in the woods, didn't they?
Yeah, you did.
In bushes.
Parents are able to withdraw children from sex education lessons apart from those that are part of the core science curriculum. Oh, OK, so there's a get-out clause already. It's the most made-up story ever. Outrage about something that isn't true. 5-year-olds won't be taught that you get this, you put that on there and you slip it in there. They won't be taught that. They'll be taught about, I don't know, like love and stuff and respect, which is surely a good thing, isn't it? Daily Mail, you've outdone yourself on the most made-up story. Roy's on the line. Good morning, Roy.
Morning.
Roy, you want to talk about cars? What you got for us?
Yeah, just a thought. You know, we're talking about whether people own up to knocking a car in a carrot or whatever,
Yes.
parking lot.
Bloody-blah.
Do you not think the insurance companies could help out a little bit with this? Would encourage a lot more people to perhaps be a bit more honest.
What should the insurance companies be doing?
Well, it just occurred to me. If you get 3 points on your licence, for argument's sake, for speeding,
Yeah.
after a while that's taken off.
What do you mean that's taken off what?
What, for owning up?
With the insurance people, whack up your insurance policy by God's amount of money. If after a period of time they were to take it back a bit, that might encourage a few people to be a bit more
Hang on,
honest.
I'm confused what this has got to do with 3 points on your licence.
Well, no, not so much the fire. That was just an example. When you're saying that you get points on your licence if you speed or whatever.
Yeah.
You get the equivalent on your insurance is an increased premium.
Do you know what? I don't. I've got points on my licence and I've declared it to my insurance company and they've not increased my premium.
Well, I'm just saying I think the insurance people could help because I think the
car insurance is probably one of the biggest rip-offs there is.
Oh, yeah, but we don't want them charging us more money, do we, Roy?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If after a period of time they were made aware that you've owned up to this, which they should know anyway if they're doing their job.
Yes. You get an own-up bonus.
A bit more back off of your premium.
Roy, thank you very much indeed. An own-up bonus. Hang on a second. That would rely on insurance companies wanting to help out and being honest and decent people. Anyone spot the deliberate error in that sentence? Have we got any texts, Catherine?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Let's have a look.
Go on then.
Let's have a look. Bit of a twist on the car story. This is from Snuffers. When living in South Africa a few years ago, I was driving from my house along a dirt road surrounded in sugarcane about 8 feet high. I wasn't going too fast, but suddenly a farm labourer walked out of the bushes in front of me. I swerved, hit a pothole, rolled the car and ended up upside down in the sugarcane. The fella ran away. Skip forward 2 weeks, a fella gives me a call replying to a job ad. Turns out when he came to my house, same guy from the bushes, didn't get the job.
Flippin' heck. How would you reckon? How do you know it's the same bloke?
Well, he was upside down in the car for a long time watching the clean pair of heels disappear.
Morrissey has scrapped plans for a gig in Iceland. Not the shop! Iceland got done recently because they were selling a food that was mislabelled. Because there was a dodge, but this was in the paper last week. Can't think what it was. It wasn't veal, it was something. And the dodge pot that sold it to Iceland said, oh yeah, legally you're allowed to call it, let's say caviar, it wasn't. Legally you're allowed to call it caviar, but it isn't, but you're allowed to. And so Iceland were happily selling it, and they weren't allowed to. You think someone would have checked that?
Yeah, after the horse thing.
Morrissey is... No one ever got done for the horses. Morrissey has... speaking of horses, Morrissey has scrapped plans for a gig in Iceland after the venue refused to stop selling meat. I like that. And then he says... This is such a good quote from Morrissey.
I don't think he wanted to do it, do you?
No, exactly. That was the thing. But then this is a brilliant quote from Morrissey, right? He told fans... I love Iceland. I can't do the voice. Morrissey's the one person I can't do, and I really try. He said, I love Iceland, and I've waited a long time to return. But I shall leave the Harper Concert Hall to their cannibalistic, flesh-eating bloodlust. Get in there, Mozza!
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1 southbound, there are queues building up from the Kimbolton turn-off to the Black Cat roundabout through the roadworks. And in Milton Keynes, the A421 standing way is looking very slow on approach to the Kingston roundabout because of the roadworks there. It's looking very slow all the way to the M1 junction 13 for Bedford. In Hitchin, Moormead Hill is looking very busy through the roadworks at Ratton Road West. And the A1M southbound is very slow between junction 9 for Letchworth and 7 for Stevenage. On the M1 southbound, there are queues building up still around junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road and 9 for Redbourne. And further afield on the M25 anti-clockwise, there is still 10-mile queues from junction 28 for the Brook Street roundabout towards junction 26 for Waltham Abbey. On the trains, the 9:32 service from Luton to Bedford is cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
That's it. That's your lot. Back tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Until then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock. And on today's Big Phone-In, do you think we should be doing more to fight ISIS? For months, we opened our paper